we're live with episode 3 of what is turning into a campaign of the Electrum Archive. So last time you guys found a crypt and cleared it out of foes and made a monkey flee in terror from you, as you all do. And
hey, I fed him first.
That's true.
I got nerve damage.
Made friends with a bunch of horrifying, weird psychic dog-sized rat things, moles.
And some assassins.
And some weird assassin
body horror
creatures.
assassins.
Yeah.
Kind of just left them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just wanted to be left there.
They were just like, yep, leave us alone, we're good. Okay.
Chill is the equivalent of friends. Chill is, I'm not trying to kill you, so if that works.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we're going to enter what is what we call downtime, what the game calls interludes. Before your next adventure. Each interlude takes roughly a month to complete. The first thing that happens is you let me double check if the rules say you or me, but I'm going to have you do it either way. We're going to have something gets rolled. So, at the start of each interlude, the seer, aka the GM, rolls a d6 and references the event table. Who would like to roll a d6? That isn't me.
Nose goes.
All right.
All right, Marissa, you volunteer.
Okay, you volunteered.
Sure. D6, the most difficult thing.
Hey,
and
that's either very good or very bad.
I'm happy with either result.
That's very good. If there is an ongoing complication, it ends. If there are no ongoing complications, nothing happens.
Okay, so our first
Never mind. So
day...
the first thing for the events is silence.
Nothing.
That's only on a 6. Perfect.
Yeah, no one notices we came to town.
Yes.
Except to give us more money.
Yep. So, everything is quiet in town, in theory. Then each of you can take a single downtime action, which they are summarized on this handout. Most of them, almost all of them, I think, involve either do necessarily or can, if you want it to be better, involve spending money. So for those of you with a hole to burn in your pocket, I guess that, well, I was going to say that doesn't make sense with it, but never mind. That metaphor doesn't make sense even with regular money, so it still continues to make as much sense as it does with ink. Most of the time.
Can you talk to us about one of these? Building an institution? Mostly because I'm curious.
So
I very much need to, feed my bug people friends some more money. So yes, one.
Yes, which you definitely
what
already
bug friends do you have?
When we were introduced to the setting, we were told there's a war underneath. The bug people are in a cold war, and so I took that and said, you know what? I'm funding one side of that cold war. Do I know anything about it? No, but Felix is funding one side of the bug people cold war.
I like to imagine that your character also does not know what's going on. You're just like, I picked this side.
I think he's fairly naive, honestly. I mean, he wandered up saying, can I please have my friends back? And conveniently got a decent answer. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure the bug people are just feeding him a line and he's fully bought in.
That's fair.
So, the building an institution downtime action can affect all sorts of things, from starting your own and building up over time to finding another one and investing in it. It doesn't mean you own it in any way. But if you invest in someone else's organization, you might eventually get every organization in the game, every faction has their own unique ability or talent or something to do with them that you get access to if they like you enough. So donate enough to them, and they can also grant you their club membership card.
Oh, cool.
You can even officially join the faction if you want. That might be a little hard if it's a bug people exclusive faction, but they might consider you, an honorary member of their
Now,
side of the Cold War.
Honorary bug.
Does the membership card give me a flaming sword or something?
So some examples of honorary membership, if I go up a bit, include getting access to a new downtime ability, a new downtime action type. Okay. You spend a downtime action learning an ability. So the way it works is you don't just get it for free. Once you have the access to this ability, you spend another downtime action in the future learning it. Based on how this is written, you're expected to have downtime actions fairly frequently. You still get one per adventure, but I think the adventures themselves, like we already experienced, are only meant to take 1 or 2 sessions.
Okay.
But one example from one faction, after failing a check, you may choose to re-roll it. If you do, this is the stat in question is reduced by 1 until your next interlude, and you must use this new number to determine the success of the reroll. You may use this multiple times in the same check, but you cannot reduce an attribute below 1. So basically, the ability is you can keep re-rolling things, but you temporarily reduce your stats to do so. That's the cost. Once your stats reach things like 6 to 8, that's, not bad. Another one, for example, is parry. Once per combat round, if your speed roll was successful, you may make 1 free counterattack when hit by a melee attack. That seems real good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's extremely varied. And so, if you want to make friends, there will be benefits.
Well,
all right.
I would like to make a friend.
Well, investing in I'll continue slightly because technically making friends is a separate action than building up an organization. When you build
What
up an
about building
organization, you will both make friends with them, and it will cost a lot more. And you have a role depending on how strong they already are. It just might make them stronger.
But I found this evil scroll about flesh crafting, and I'm
Oh,
really trying to
that's
find
what
the
you meant
best
by
action for
making
that.
friends.
Yes,
Oh.
I'd like to make a friend.
Very, very literally.
That's not
Little flesh
yes.
crafting
No,
scroll.
I didn't.
That makes sense.
I figured we were given it for a purpose. And it
That's
is my
fair.
duty as a scholar to investigate.
All right. What do you want to make?
I want to make a horse. Something this world has never seen.
All right. So
To pull my cart.
you're creating a creature the world has never seen, though you've already named it the horse.
It has 6 legs.
Of course.
Hooves that need shoes.
Yep. Not like metal shoes, because no one makes those when horses don't exist. They need like boots, horse boots.
No, they're more like large pieces of wood, so they can step on the sand.
Excellent.
It has a weird
Horse
long
like
face.
snowshoes.
And it does have some sort of flowing mane coming off of it. I saw it in a dream once.
Excellent. So,
I'm using mostly rats.
I will set a tracker for a crafting project. You won't be able to fully finish it this session, this downtime.
That is deeply unfortunate.
it is, but you can get started. If an item is of a completely original design or some kind of forgotten ink tech, I might require you to complete a gathering information tracker first to invent or uncover the construction process. Because you have the scroll and are just crafting it based on a dream, let me double check the scroll's effects firstly, and let me double check the rules for flesh crafting before I go any further with this, because I think that
Sorry, I have not been able to read. I don't have that. PDF.
Yep.
The
So,
flesh crafting rules. So I'm really just going on a limb and thinking
yep. Let's
they don't
see
have
what it's like. There are
horses,
rules
but
for it, so let's see what it takes. But firstly, the scroll. I'm double checking. Here we are. Scroll of Living Flesh, ancient scroll describing it. It describes recipes for vat growing body parts and how to assemble them into different configurations. So you might be good, honestly, with that. It's not, it's more. It does give you also a bonus to related crafting downtime actions, but narratively, you might just be able to bypass the finding the recipe portion as well. Flesh graft. So that's lore. Downtime action flesh graft surgery. That's that's a much more mundane version of it. That's like you getting your own new arm. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do regular crafting then. But if anyone,
I get the +1 for related flesh
yeah,
craft.
I'm gonna add.
That's what I'm counting on.
You do, and I'm gonna add flesh graft surgery. Get a new limb, whether or not you're replacing an old one.
So the horse can grow in the future. If I need to make the horse more powerful.
Yes, you can
that's
add
the
it. You can
flesh.
upgrade it from 6 to 8 legs or something.
Yeah, 6 to 8 to 9.
Classic
It's
Slipnir.
yeah, and that's how we make the horse more powerful. When we need
Yeah,
more power, more
that's
legs.
how you get more horsepower. It's in the legs.
It's
Yes.
all in the legs.
Perfect. Here we go. So then I choose one of three things. I should say you can craft it with one success, which is like simple modifications or weapons or stuff like that. This is not going to be one success.
This seems bigger than that.
Or I can do 3 successes, which is items that require some planning, such as crafting a simple ink-powered glider from scavenge tech or creating a void glass weapon. Or 5 successes, a very complex or intricate objects which take a long time to complete or require the completion of several difficult tasks, such as building an ink-powered golem or vat growing a flame-throwing prosthetic arm.
It sounds like a 5.
I
when you
think
put
this
it
is
like
a
that.
5.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
step 1 is finding a shack and
Yeah.
putting some tubes up.
So write it down and mark it as 0 to 5 for like progress, and then to begin crafting, you must spend a number of drops deemed appropriate by me. As a rule of thumb, this should be half the cost of buying a common version of it. So we have rules for how much mounts cost. Buying one overall, like a Strider, buying a
This would be
bipedal
the
Saurian is sorry.
the long head, because I want it to be powerful enough to pull one cart
By itself. Okay.
without more legs added to it. Of course,
Yeah.
it will be the engine to my cart train
It will be.
when we upgrade it. But to begin with, powerful enough to pull one cart by itself, which is the like under the cart heading. I can't find the
There
sale
is no
price
thing
that.
for what a loghead is. That is the only time logheads are mentioned in the
Ever
game.
mentioned.
So I would say
Well,
if
we can assume they cost $50.
we can assume they probably cost 50. So half of that, 25 ink drops. So you spend 25 to get your setup basically. So this will cover access to proper materials and tools.
Yeah, this is the shack with the pit with the vats.
Yep. This only ever needs to be paid once, and then once paid, you can begin making crafting attempts. Roll a d10, add a +1. It's just a flat d10, not with a stat. Add a +1 bonus if you have a relevant talent, and in this case, also a +1 because you have the relevant, because you have the scroll. So, do you have any talents related to, I don't know, animals, flesh grafting, anything like that?
Um,
I'm gonna guess no.
no.
So-
History and culture? I don't think so in a world that's never seen a horse.
Roll a d10 and add 1. D10 plus 1, and we'll see what the roll is. You want a 5 or higher? All right. No progress is made unless you pay an additional 20 drops to get better materials. So either you stay at 0 to 5 for now, or you pay 20 drops and get to 1 out of 5 automatically.
Spend an extra $20
All right.
for premium.
Premium, I don't know, rat
Premium
carts.
loot.
All right, there we go. You have your horse is beginning to grow in its vats.
I may begin study on what is fleshcraft next
Yeah.
week.
So
When we have more time off.
yes. Who's next for your downtime? I guess before we do that, I'm quickly curious, Indigo, what does it look like when as Panucci is set up? Like, where is this like again, to us it's horrifying, but flesh grafting is like in this world seen as semi-mundane. So like it's the equivalent of like getting really into like owning your own aquarium and being really into like fish. Like, okay, that sounds expensive and like it has a lot of maintenance, but it's not like weird per se. It's just a high maintenance hobby. Is how I think people
Yeah.
in the world would view it.
So I found so Panucci finds a shack next to some abattoir or something where no one's gonna worry about the horse bits. Um and we just get the scene of him kicking open the shack and like putting a crate down and then the two hands on his hip and we hang up the lumen pod lantern from last time um to illuminate the shack and we get a table and we roll out some not paper. We stack up some Electrum plates where he has painstakingly carved his blueprints for horse, and we get like sketches of the body with the 6 majestic legs, and the face with the weird long nose and the flat teeth. Question marks for internal organs. The
Yeah,
flesh grafting process tends to fill in the blanks when you sculpt a beautiful
yeah.
form.
Nature
The
finds a
horrors
way.
within.
The
Yeah, nature
organs will
finds a
grow
way to make it work.
in the most optimal way by itself.
Yeah,
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
yeah. And then we get a montage of him like carving a clay model, and then by the time we turn to like flip on the vats, my month is up. Like I'm out of pocket money.
Perfect.
So it's mostly been horse artistry.
Yeah. It's your plans for creating this horrifying abomination that is the horse.
Yeah,
Who's next?
I'll have the first horse-drawn carriage on the whole planet.
Excellent.
Well, I'd like to do the other version of making a friend in that it's time to go give away all of my money and see how much I actually have left to shop with. I'd like to hand my money off to an institution. Though I am curious, eh, unless it's really, really bad membership card, I'm not going to
Gotta get some
care.
bug powers. If you're gonna give the bugs money, you at the very least have to unlock the bug powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like if the membership card is congratulations, you can now
Thorough.
fall
Thorough.
down from heights. I'm like, ah.
So I don't
You turn
have
into
what they are right
Spider-Man?
now, but it's unlikely you're going to make friends with them from one big donation.
Dang.
That's fair.
Um,
Still knowing how much
there
money I'm
is
supposed to
a
be giving
handout.
them for
Yeah, that's fair.
each.
There is a handout for disposition. Rules, and only once you start at like 5 as a base, but only once you reach 9 or 10 do you get to access to their special ability.
It looks like 8, yeah. Are they
8.
starting? Or 8 is access to faction specific benefit, so
Okay, then yes.
do they start neutral, dislike?
Starts at 5 neutral.
Okay.
The very bottom of neutral.
3 steps up to go. I can work with this.
Yes. Okay, so I have done some checking currently, neither of the two books have any details about the bug people yet. They did say it will come in the future book and hopefully the next one. So I'm going to add some things to the fiction and we can sort of work together on this briefly.
Fair enough.
So the little we do know in the Sunless Princedoms, let's see, a vast network of underground caves and tunnels. The ear. Let's see. They are bug people, which we know. That might be actually all we know.
Kind of bug people.
Oh, I have a picture of
I
one in here.
Unclear.
Hold
picked an
on.
interesting thing from the setting, ran with it, and turns out that was all we had.
Okay,
So,
so they're like ant
Bipedal
people.
Oh, cool.
ant people, yeah.
Yes. They shall definitely be friends.
Yep. All right. Well, these the portion, like, not all, the in the area you're in, the merchant houses are the ones in power. I think the Sunless Princedoms, though, they're gonna have a whole different organization's not really the right word, as I said, but they are called the Princedoms. So I think, let me check a couple other things that I will know. The the ancestral city. There is somewhere in here that it says what it is. Because that's a specific city, I believe. But I think we're gonna create some stuff.
All right. Group creation. I can work with this.
Ruinlands, there's the Rift, there's the Delta, Moral Delta. But all of those are above ground. Yeah. And yeah, there are a list of factions. However, I thought one of them would be here we go. I thought one of them involved the ear, but none of them do.
Nothing to pull from automatically.
So here's some of the things I've been able to find out. It looks like the Sunless Princedoms used to have a more stable, uneasy alliance that has been slowly growing into a powder keg of political tensions waiting to be ignited. Um, in the era of the great cities that lasted between 1,800 years ago and 600 years ago, the Ear attempted to reform the Sunless Kingdom, but the various tribes and their talks ended in a bloody war for control of, I have the city name, Deepheart. After a few generations, the war ends in a stalemate and the tribes form into princedoms with rotating control of the city. So, that is how their Cold War is going on. Is they have probably extremely like tensely and like no one's happy with it. Rotating like 1,000-year-old rituals over when someone like we come to the city for 5 years and then leave it, and that's like the entrance and exodus of each people as we hand it off to the next tribe is probably a whole thing. So
All right.
let me check if there's anything else I can find out between everything going on here. Other things we know. Void glass is a sharp volcanic and deep viridian crystal mined in the Sunless Kingdoms, Sunless Princedoms. That's sometimes they're still
Okay.
called the Kingdoms, but either way. Deep Heart is the name of it. We'll have to remember that. Here we go. If you're visiting the bug people, then some of them will be staying at the Green Core in Hightown on the map. So Hightown, number 18 on the map, at the very top right of the city, is the Green Core, which is an ongoing construction project to create a massive, self-sustaining greenhouse. Initiated 30 years ago, but and like funded and overseen by one of the merchant houses. Participating people include tech specialists, farmers, bloom tenders, which are a different thing, and Eric tunnelers from the Sunless Princedoms. So you'll sometimes find that they are known to specifically be hired to work there for a bit, more so than in other places in the city. Let's see. One thing everyone would know about them is that the ear cannot traditionally they cannot inhale Elder Ink to cast spells by default. Only humans can do
Okay.
that. So they have other means of using of doing magic. The art of creating and using spirit prisms originated with them. But that's something to keep in mind as well.
So what is it that we need to create to get this downtime action happening?
So they're all going to, I think the best thing to do in my case, here we go. I need to open the same PDF twice. So I need to 1 reference lore and 2 reference rules. Building an institution. So we need to.
Are we actually building an institution, or are we just finding an institution that's already been built?
Building an institution as a section accounts for both. A character may spend their downtime action founding a new institution or investing in a pre-existing one.
Okay.
Institutions have an influence level that represents their access to resources and presence in the area they are located in.
Which in this case, given that their area they're located in is the city, probably not that high.
Yeah, I guess that's the question is, are you looking, like, yeah, you'd have to invest effectively in like their the embassy of specifically one of the princedoms here. We don't have any of the names for any of the individual princedoms or kingdoms, but we're going to need to create one of them because there's probably several.
Red versus blue.
I know, but we want a name for them that fits the setting.
All right. They're called the Ear? Spelled
IRR. Yeah, we can come up with a name afterwards, and I think while we go through this, if someone else can come up with a name for who they are. I think that, let's see, there's 6 levels of influence from trivial all the way up to legendary. And these can vary. I would say that like the great houses would be influential at 5 out of 6. They're not quite legendary on the individual houses. Maybe if combined they would be. But the individual houses, one of them would be influential. They have major influence, but The blind bankers are, for example, legendary because they are shape the lives of effectively everyone across the entire world because they are so ubiquitous. Um, when it comes to this kingdom's influence within the city you're in, Titanport, I would say
Probably fairly low.
small, easily forgotten by most, but significant to a few people. So, an up and coming Inkseeker guild with a handful of short expeditions under the belt, or something like that.
That sounds right.
I'm tempted for that, but I think I'm going to upgrade that slightly to middling. Well known in a small community or scene. For example, a well visited spirit temple that collects alms for their neighborhood. That'll be who they are, I think, is middling. This is they're still like the Sunless Princedoms are still very powerful. Each of them individually are probably on their own turf more powerful than the merchant houses who run this city and a lot of the region you're in. Out here, they're
Okay.
probably middling. So that sets the price it takes, the amount of money it will take to invest in them. That's 80 drops.
All right. 80 drops it is.
There's
This
more
is
to
the
it
goal.
before you
I
can.
thought my 45 for horse was a lot.
No, it starts at 20 and doubles or more than doubles every step up to 1,000 at legendary.
I see. So a change from small to middling was a sad change, but maybe it'll be good in what I get out of it.
About that, we'll see how it goes. So institutions have an influence level that represents their access to resources and presence in the area they're located in. So if you help them, they might have actually they'll both take your money. It'll aid their cause. It will also help them like in Titanport specifically. Narratively speaking, they can help you with other future downtime actions going forward if you've invested in them. But it will totally depend on the actual like group itself, which we'll get to.
Fair enough.
As an example, the book gives investing in an Inkseeker guild might grant, which is adventurer, might grant access to more skilled hirelings and the option to cheaply buy a random elder artifact each interlude, while investing in a library or spy network might grant the player a free gathering information downtime action each interlude. So we're going to have to create a benefit that you'll get starting next interlude.
Okay, we can do that.
Yep. Each time if you're
I'll actually make a
starting a
note of
trivial
that.
institution, you don't require a roll. Yes, but make the note. Starting a trivial institution, the level 20, the 20 drops one does not require a roll. You just spend the 20 drops and do it. But each time you want to attempt to advance an institution to the next influence level, you describe how you attempt to grow it, pay the advancement cost, and roll to see how it goes.
Okay,
So
so we're going to need a benefit, and now we're going to need a roll.
We're going to need a benefit. We're going to need a roll. We're going to need a narrative justification for what you want to do. In terms of like, how do you, in this case, it could literally like we've established that some of them are like asking for. So,
I think the ability to buy a random Eldritch artifact would make sense.
I think actually, those Eldritch artifacts are like retrieved from dungeons, but the one thing we've established that's pretty universal about the Sunless Princedoms is that they export void glass and are known for spirit prism creation and usage. So I think what makes the most sense is to get a benefit relating to them.
I mean, the thing I most wanted when I was looking at what else am I going to spend my money on was a void glass weapon.
But I
So
think the ability to buy one of those
would be real nice. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, that's in the rules as a special weapon.
Yeah, the rare weapon, the void glass blade, specifically.
I
it
would
says you have
say
to get in with the merchants, and that feels like a good benefit.
I agree. Yeah, trade with merchants from the Sunless Princedoms. Yeah, I would say you can get access to that. And honestly, well, you're spending 40 and it's 75. I think that. Let me double check one thing. Access to the weapon would be part of the benefit, but most of the book's example benefits for building an institution were bigger than just access to one thing. So I'm going to see if I can give a discount on that. But let me check.
That's the benefit that we get next time.
Most of the benefits affect future downtime actions, which is why I said next time. But if something is just buying something, then that wouldn't be a downtime action. So
I mean,
would
I'm not going to be
say-
able to afford both building this and buying that weapon, so it's kind
Okay,
of an
yeah,
either
it'll
or,
affect you next
and
time
that's
then.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you narratively do this? I guess is my next question to you.
Are we wandering up to the embassy, or is this more secretive? I think that this is probably more secretive. I think that there's a bit of wandering over to the gardens where they are tunneling, like watching the different Yuri and which ones, and trying to figure out, okay, are there any secret signs? Oh, that one. I recognize that one. I'm pretty sure I know who they are. And then just pulling them aside and then like quickly as I can, just shoving like 80 drops of ink at them. Like, here, this is yours. More effort, please. Good. Yes?
Yeah. Okay. They're perplexed at first and look down and like they probably like shake the like vial of ink you give them to check that it's real or something. And they're like they look at it and look at you, look back at it and look at you.
For the war effort.
And they probably give you like a like cheer that is a cheer statement that's like specific to their kingdom, like for let's say like for Prince. Here we go. We have a Sunless Princedom name. It just looks so similar. We have the Sunless Princedom of Okirik, which I will put in Roll20 chat. Oops. Go. And so they say kind of like still a bit perplexed. They say for Okirik. Yes. So that we can reclaim our homeland.
Yes, exactly. Gotten it one.
Yes. I will get this delivered into the proper hands. Let's make the roll and see. Like if this goes poorly, they're just gonna, I don't know, maybe pocket the money. If this goes well, then they're gonna be like, "Who are you? What's your name? Let me get you into our membership list."
You just found a guy that you've
$80 down
seen
the
work there before. Like you just.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
sure
think-
that this was the guy who gave me the definitely not propaganda on why his faction was correct. I'm
I think he was just on
fairly
paper
certain
pass
it's the
out duty.
same
Like
guy.
that day.
Let's find out. Well,
Yeah, you
it's
just
more
got
like
the guy
testing
handing out
this guy's
flyers.
integrity. Like, if he's given a bunch of money, does he keep it for himself and not mention it, or does he? Yeah. Okay.
How dedicated
So-
to the cause is he?
Yeah, you're gonna roll a d10. You're going to add relevant modifiers. If you invest extra ink equal an extra 50% ink, you get a +1 bonus, and you can do this 3 times.
Yeah, an extra 50% ink is not. No, that's a lot of money for
All right.
40 more ink per +1. No.
Are there any other relevant modifiers you can think of?
Backstory: the fact that I've been actively trying to work with these people for a while.
I did not know that. Take a +1, a singular +1 for that.
That seems fair. All right, roll 1d10 +1, and we'll see exactly if I've failed to put in the roll wrong. Yep, I did again. 1d10 +1.
All right.
7.
With a 7, the result you get is stifled. The institution advances a level, becoming significant, but suffers a setback. It provides no benefits and can't grow further until the setback is resolved.
Okay.
So, they do advance from middling to significant. So, significant means they hold influence over the people of a city or small region. For example, the Golden Syndicate of Titanport. So, the Golden Syndicate on the map, the Golden Syndicate is a significant faction within the city of. I think they're. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure they're thieves, but they basically the embassy is going to become like a much bigger deal.
Apparently now this faction of thug people are influential in the city above. That's what the money was using for. It spent the money getting them into the correct inner
Well,
circle
I think
politics
that's part of the
invitation.
thing is they start having a lot more um, meetings with the local, like they're spending that money to grease wheels and make better deals and accelerate, like using the ties to create more of a closer alliance between the houses up here and their organization down below.
All right.
You can
Sorry, what was the level of their significance that I can jot down?
Yeah, so their significance has risen from 3 middling to 4 significant. And then this is the text description for what significant means.
Thanks.
Because it was 80, I believe, I said to raise it when it was at middling.
Yes.
Cool. The next time you want to raise it, it will be 200.
I mean, is there any way to get them to like me more without raising their significance? Because if
Yes.
I have to get them from 5 to 8, that seems like I have to have them take over the upper city to be able to get them
No,
to
you,
maybe like me a
there
little.
is, as I mentioned, there's a whole other thing for making friends. That's a different thing.
What?
I told you that.
Whatever. I guess this works.
There's making friends, but that won't help you with actually getting them, backing them.
All right. Well, I'm
You said
happy
you
to
did
back
say
them.
you were funding them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm funding them. Or
making
I'm
friends,
not
I don't
upset.
think is the same as funding them. Okay, so I think you can. We'll figure if you don't have the money to spend to buy any of those things, then I think we'll wait. But yeah, you'll probably be involving lots of void glass stuff. The setback that you're going to hear about over the next like month as you're doing this. They probably bring you in to the system a bit. Like they, I think like they probably are going to use you as an example. Like you might not be directly speaking, though you can if you want to be. Like to other people. But the ear here, kind of like use your legitimately like in for like 80 drop enormous donation as a case of like, see, this is the reason we need to like make better ties with the surface world kind of thing. Like you kind of accidentally butterfly affected some of their internal politics to a degree. There was already a discussion, probably from it you can tell you kind of accidentally walked in and hit a domino over something that was already being set up in some way by someone. They're going to, for a setback, I think that one thing about the various like human merchant houses on the surface is that they're very competitive with each other, and the ear haven't really been at least these ear this kingdom has been pretty much like trying to be friendly with all of them. um that hasn't ended up going super well. Over the next month, after holding meetings with all of the different, like, I think there's like three to five different named big merchant houses. Pretty much all of them have basically said you got to pick one of us to be friends with because we're all exclusive. We're not going to be like, we're not willing to really go further with you in terms of trade agreements and that in any way, except for like unless we start going into exclusivity deals and you don't deal with the other merchant houses, you just deal with me. And kind of all of them in different ways are saying that. So
All right.
that's their thing. They're going to have to resolve one way or the other.
So just to be clear here, I've absolutely funded them. Quite happy with that. We've
Yep.
made them more influential. That has nothing to do with disposition, which is a
Correct.
completely different thing.
So no, you will increase your disposition with them as a byproduct of this.
Okay.
So I would say if I'm looking at disposition, I think it's gonna jump you up. Let me double check a few things before I confirm that. I will double check firstly if alter disposition. Yeah, so altering disposition is, as far as I can tell, free but slow. Investing is expensive but fast. So you're going to jump, I think, right up to liked. So put you up to an 8.
Which would affect things and let me get benefits, except for the setback means that I don't
The
get any
setback
benefits
means they
until
aren't
I
able to
resolve.
provide their normal benefit until their setback is resolved. Until they like sign a deal with someone, and it's
Sweet.
like even within the embassy itself, that's gonna like cause them some trouble. In terms, it's gonna take them longer than you might expect. They kind of it seems like this was an aspect of the merchant houses up here that maybe they heard about but didn't take seriously or didn't realize how bad it was. They're like, yeah, we're outsiders, which means they'll all be friends. No. So
All
they're
right.
locked in hot debate internally over which house they should actually bond with. But you do actually hear something, separate information, which is that Prince Onik of the Sunless Princedom that you donated to will be arriving in Titanport soon to try to get this resolved and push for specifically what is he has an idea. He already favors a specific merchant house. You might not have heard which one, but he favors one specifically, and he wants to like as they get locked up in this, you hear he's gonna come visit himself personally. He's gonna sort this mess out. He's gonna like deal with this.
So as I am being a willing pamphlet hander outer and, the textbook, congratulations, you should donate like this person has.
Yes.
Yes, I think this is such a worthy cause. We have the background issues of, them bickering over my shoulder about which they should support, and the prince is coming to sort it all out.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. That is interesting. I look forward to learning more about it next time. I am quite happy to move on to the next step of my action.
So after you wake up in a Motel 6 covered in ink.
Yeah.
Colin.
I think, I mean, I have a couple ideas. Is it going to cost ink to make a puzzle box? I would assume it would.
It does cost ink to make a puzzle box. Let me double check how much. Here we go. 30 drops, it looks like. It also will take multiple downtime actions. over the
Okay.
course of yeah.
Is it single use?
No, you use it once per interlude. You can use it. So once you make one, you can just keep it and use it every time.
That's a
Once per
good
adventure.
investment,
That is a good
actually.
investment, but I was also considering so is the ghost dagger void glass?
Ghost Dagger is
No.
not Void Glass. No.
Okay. Can I somehow do a spirit prism with the ghost dagger?
I think that makes sense. In theory, so there's spirit prisms work in two halves. So the prisms themselves are made of void glass, and they can hold more powerful spirits the better cut they are. But when what the normal way, and the part that actually takes your downtime action, is luring and trapping a spirit into the prism. And normally, when that happens, you literally roll randomly to determine what kind of spirit.
Got it. Okay.
And the dagger
The dagger
hurts
cuts
spirits.
spirits and can absorb their essence into it.
Yeah.
So I would say if you create a spirit prism, you can probably automatically recharge the dagger while doing that.
I think it's currently charged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I buy a puzzle box? How much would a puzzle box be?
So
More than $50.
puzzle boxes cannot normally be bought. Puzzle boxes are the text says puzzle boxes are unique representations of a specific warlock's mind, and they cannot normally be used by other warlocks unless you spend time deciphering it, basically. Making a puzzle box, you choose a specific spell name you know, what represents the mental pathways you tread to access the spell name from the realms beyond. All puzzle boxes are deeply personal artifacts.
Okay.
So you can find them, but it would be like amongst the remains of
it's like finding a wizard spell book.
Yeah, it is finding a wizard spell book.
Okay.
You're not just gonna find one in for sale.
All right. I'll start making a puzzle box.
All right. So
For your signature blinding vortex.
Yes, Vortex of Blinding Fire. I do have 2 other spells. I could make them, but that seems to be the signature.
30. You spend 30 drops for the initial costs.
Mhm.
And then each interlude you choose to spend your downtime action working on it. You roll a d10. You get a +1 to this when crafting it at a site of great power, which I do not know if we've established you have any access to yet.
Uh-huh.
And then you are going to hope for a 5 or higher.
Okay. Now, can I argue for my talent of trade that I'm able to get high quality materials
Um,
for my puzzle box?
to get a +1.
Yeah.
I think 30 Sure.
Okay. So just roll a d10 +1.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. So the answer is sure, but only this first time for the +1.
Okay.
Because this is the time you're buying the materials. But future rolls,
Yeah.
you won't get that +1. On a 10+, you have a breakthrough. You mark 2 successes on the tracker, so you're at 2 out of 3 for progress.
Nice. Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah. Once you have a puzzle box, the way it works is once per interlude, you can cast it. You use the spell stored within it at a minor or moderate effect with a 0 ink cost, or at a major effect for half the cost.
Nice.
So that's
Okay, so
adds
Moderate
up.
is what? 2d6 damage? You can melt someone for free once per adventure.
yeah, so moderate is 2d6 to a single target or d6 to multiple, and then half the ink cost for a major.
That can add up a lot because majoring
Yeah.
cost is like 60
3d6
drops.
times 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
So you're 2 and a 3 for that. All right. So interludes are assumed to be roughly 1 month long. So like you all pass like working on your projects and doing your things as your funds start to run dry. Eventually, I'm going to ask someone is going to approach you with a job offer. Do they find you together, or do they find one of you in particular who then like spreads the word to the rest of you?
Probably option 2. It really
Yeah.
depends on who the person finding us is, as to which one of the 3.
They would
Okay,
approach.
it'll be
Yeah.
Felix then.
Yeah.
I think Felix is approached. It's not
Okay.
while you're on pamphlet duty, unfortunately. But it's probably like maybe when you've done when you're like heading home after spending some time there. A woman like you see a woman calling out to you from one of like an alley that you're passing by. She says,
So then you run two units away from her immediately.
yeah, you jump, you throw a spear, and you flee as soon
You
as
start sprinting.
We're in the city. It's relatively safe
it
here,
is. It
right?
has been for the past month. Yep.
Uh,
But she opens by saying, um, I see you've been spending a lot of time with the I want to say Erie, but I'm going to double check that I just misremembered my own the ear. So she says, yeah, she calls out, says, spending a lot of time with the ear lately, I see.
yes. Would you like to make a donation?
In a way, yes. She approaches, and she says, I have heard that you and some friends of yours do odd jobs when necessary. Your work for the embalmers last month has not gone unnoticed.
Who is it who's been doing the noticing?
My name is Myrna. Sorry? Were you going to say more?
Nope.
Okay. She says, my name is Myrna. So she looks, she's in her probably early 40s, short black hair. She looks like fit and thin, but tall. She wears like a blue cloak. And you put like with as a like fixer, you can probably assume she has some weapons and other stuff under there. She looks capable, is the right way to put it.
So hackles up and hand feeling to weapon, but not, actually. The stab and run solution might be a good one.
Excellent. Um, she says, "How do you feel about doing a job for me? You and your
Depends. Who
friends."
do you represent?
I can't say that, but I am able to pay.
And you just spent $80 on pamphlets.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, pay is the more important thing than representation here. I'm listening. What is it that you'd like us to do? And for how much?
Well, there's a specific void glass blade that I need you to get your hands on and bring me. Very particular one, in fact. And I'm willing to pay 180 drops as a reward
For the blade?
for the blade.
Where is it right now?
The tower of a man named Tursar Setru. He's the twin brother of Rodal Setru, the patriarch of House Setru. Tursar's a powerful man, a dangerous one. You've dealt with people like that, though, I'm sure, and that's why I'm paying well.
I will do my best to look as though I absolutely have dealt with people like that before. Yep.
She
I think
continues.
it might be a good time to bring my friends in on this discussion. Is there somewhere where we can meet you so we can talk more details as a group?
Yeah, she'll. I think we can just cut to there probably.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll have like a specific. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. There's a specific warehouse in the Gemhaven district that she'll meet you at to give you more details. So she gives you the
I'll
location.
track the others of you down and let's
Yeah.
join
Do
there.
we just cut to there to like continuing the conversation with all three of you?
Yeah, or we're standing outside the warehouse.
Mm.
I wasn't sure if this was glaives optional or not, so I did bring it. But
She doesn't
Yeah.
I
seem to
can
care.
leave it propped against a wall if it's
Yeah, the warehouse,
rude.
the warehouse is coincidentally abandoned at the time that she's meeting you.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
A gentleman is not properly dressed without his sword.
Excellent.
Oh,
Or in your case, pipe.
I have both. I have a sword and a pipe.
Perfect.
and a ghost dagger. You're very well armed.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the ghost dagger is just like on my chest.
So she'll continue talking, and you can ask questions if you want to. Once you meet up with her, she re-explains it, and then she says, "This void glass blade is kept as part of Tursar's collection, along with other valuable artifacts and curios. It's likely in a vault somewhere inside his tower, located in the heart of Hightown. He's a small retinue of guards, but Tursar himself is a warlock with his own magic and his own personal, ancient, ink-powered golem."
What
Hmm.
heavens?
I need this done by the end of the month, which gives you 2 weeks.
And do we get anything else? Like a cover identity? Is there an event happening, an opening?
I trust you to
Any
handle all of
intel?
that.
Oh, it's all of it. Okay.
She told you that it's kept in a vault in the tower. She told you with the golem and that there is magic. She mentions there's only a few guards. She says I think what she will say is like, your efforts here will not go unnoticed by the city.
Oh, you were at the city?
A part of it.
Now, is anything else in the vault up for grabs? Perhaps if just the
I
blade went.
elbow the old man.
Well, I'm not. He's literally not an old man.
As
I
long
don't
as
care.
He
All
just
wizards
talks
are
like
old.
old man.
All wizards are old. Just keep elbowing until he stops talking about
Oh.
the extra looting that the employer doesn't need to know about.
Well,
She's-
I'm just saying
Yeah.
if this sword that you want is the only thing that goes missing, perhaps it would leave a trail that leads back to you. But if everything goes missing,
She says, if anything else happened to disappear from Tursar's collection, that would be tragic, but nothing he wouldn't recover from.
bully.
Are you sure you're not old?
My family is quite old. I've learned.
But are you old?
No,
You
I'm
talk
rather
person
quite
under
young.
the age of 70?
Yeah.
Ever?
Myrna says, if you come here with the blade, I'll be waiting.
Here?
Yes.
And
In
who owns
case
this?
She says, this is the warehouse district. Everyone owns a warehouse. Or several.
Don't know warehouse.
I mean, I own one not that far away. It makes sense.
I need to diversify my portfolio.
Mercy, you had a question?
in case we have to potentially use the blade on the way out, what is it that makes this blade of such interest to you? Is there anything special we should know about it?
Nothing. Well, actually, let me double check, but I don't think it'll be anything that you're in the way that you're asking. No.
AKA, if we need to forge it and this one's better, can we steal this?
No, she says that this is an important blade, but it does not have any special effects, if that's what you're wondering. There's no spirit inhabiting it, or ink tech built into it.
So would
It's
any Void class blade do? Why this one?
like lots of swords and blades, they all like look kind of different. What she said before, she was saying is like this is a the words she used were oh, it didn't. Okay, yeah. So she says this is a very specific blade with a very specific history. That is important to me.
Okay.
So she doesn't.
Well, do we care?
Okay.
Yeah, you can discuss if you want to forge a copy of it later. But she.
Yeah.
We've got all the information we need to get money.
Yeah. So I think we side cut to us at a coffee shop.
Can we do some quick, or can I in the background have done some quick shopping first?
Yeah.
Sweet. I will buy the two things I'm buying.
Okay. You have 14 days.
Oh no, I'm sure I can't find light armor or dungeoneering toolkit
You're
in
fine.
that time.
So we're doing a robbery.
Some sort of clandestine operation, yes.
I think
You?
for I learned this in the library. Let's refer to the thing we're stealing as something else. See, we always called it just like a little black book or something, but it's not a book.
I thought you wanted us to call it something else specifically.
No, we need some sort of code word
Ah,
for
yes,
the
yes.
person we are liberating object from, the object and the location. I think that's the first order of business, is to establish code words.
So we're not referring to it directly. All right.
Yeah. In case people overhear us. Like you, can we get like 5 feet of space? I say to the server. They're coming out to serve another table.
Excellent. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
We could refer to the target as the eagle, and their nest,
Okay.
and the egg as the object we are trying to steal.
Okay. Eagle, egg, and nest. What is an eagle? I have taken a recent interest in mythological creatures.
It is this thing
And it
that
lays eggs like a lizard?
yes, it's
Ah.
like a lizard if it had the ability to soar among the clouds.
Oh,
That's-
like the ear. Wings.
I thought those were bugs.
They have wings. Some of them.
Like a lizard? Does this eagle lizard look like a bug?
No,
If it has wings to fly, it has to.
I believe This is above my pay grade.
Okay. So this eagle.
Eagle.
Are you stronger than said eagle?
Probably not, no. Not with
No?
my 11
Okay.
drops to my name.
So force might be a problem.
Unless we can steal some ink from inside of the nest.
Hmm. That seems like a long shot.
Shall we lay out the different things that that the problems are? The
Uh,
guards,
I
ink
think
golem, and the
I,
wizards themselves, and then the vault.
I believe you mean the eagle, the
Yeah,
Egglet.
the
chick,
eagle.
the chicks, and then the golem.
Yes, the golem. Um, but the chicks seemed like the easiest problem. Some sort of chick poison could be applied to eliminate them all at once.
Now, perhaps I could bring a different avenue here. Do I know anything about this dude?
Um,
I've influenced
so yeah,
politics.
you have influence in politics. So there's some stuff you will know automatically about him,
I
without
have
needing to
history
roll.
and culture if it's relevant for giving us facts.
Politics and influence will be more like, I think the things that you would know from history and culture with a roll, with influence and politics are what this guy's all about, and the fact that Jordan is both means he just will, whatever you would be able to roll, he will know automatically, and whatever he would be able to roll is someone that no one else would know automatically. Tursar
Fair
Setru
enough.
is, so firstly, House Setru. There's three primary houses in the city of Titansport. House Care Onar. They're the most powerful. Are like the de facto ruler, though again, it's not official. But officially, Titansport is ruled by the Merchant Council, and it just happens to be that most of the members on the council are either members of the house or close allies of them. So they unofficially rule the
Yeah.
city. Um, Second to them is House Setru, the House of High Winds, the ancestral owners of one of the few remaining Maldrazagaron airships. Basically, they own an ancient airship that still operates. Um, it has big
I want
cultural
one.
value because it actually was involved. This airship brought fleeing refugees to Titan Plateau centuries ago, and is still operated today. So it's not just invaluable for trade; it also has historical significance to the city. Um, House Setru built their entire fortune, like not exclusively, but largely based on this airship. Um, they, the patriarch of the house, Rodal Setru, is the twin brother to the warlock that you're being asked to steal from, Tursar. Um, from what you've heard about Tursar, he is widely known. So he's, as the second to them. You've heard rumors about him that he's kind of cold and calculating. Um, he manages House Setru's information networks and administrative functions. So he's very much like the person who makes it all run. But what you definitely know, Colin, is that he has specifically an interest in elder artifacts, and many hope for an invitation to his tower to see his collection of curiosities. Can you please make a roll for me? This
What
will
kind
be
of
archives to
roll?
see what else you know about him.
Do I get any pluses for this,
You'll
or
have advantage because of your thing, your talent,
oh, okay, so TD
talents.
and DL1. Nope.
So you want the 5 though, right? Because lower's better.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
sorry, but my archive is 2.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then okay, that's all.
Yeah,
you
you're
know.
just kind of stupid.
That's
It's
still
really the
that's still
problem.
basically what you know automatically is what most people would know on a success.
Yeah. I relay that in my Teddy Roosevelt impression.
So why can't we kill the chicks?
Does this guy have like parties or no? Is it like a standard wizard's
You
tower? Like
didn't
no one
succeed on your
comes in.
rolls. You like
This
you
is the mean accountant brother.
This is like,
Yeah.
probably in theory he does. Like, as I said, that people hope for an invitation to his tower, which means it happens sometimes, but you don't
Yeah.
know that one's happening soon or something like that. You don't know when the next one's
Right.
going to
Okay.
be. You can try to
Well,
find out, but it's just not known off the top of your head.
Yeah. It appears that he sometimes brings out invitations to his tower. I mean, his nest. So we could look for someone who has been invited, or attempt to get invited ourselves. But also, if he's hosting parties in his nest, we could sneak in as guards ourselves.
Chicks?
Yes, chicks.
Mm. I'm not actually an expert in disguise, though. Are
Oh, don't
you?
worry. I have a disguise kit.
You have a disguise kit?
Yes.
Do you think that would be better than poison?
Possibly.
Disguising
I think.
us means that there might be fewer. We might be able to get through and have more time. The way I see this, we can go in 3 ways. We can do stealth, we can do brute force, or we can do, get an invitation and get in there.
We've already ruled out brute force because our warlock is inferior.
I just don't have enough. I don't have enough drops.
If that's the case, then we have stealth, hiding the whole way, and that seems like it would be buffed by the ability to go
I'm
in with
sorry, good sir.
guards.
Remember last adventure? I have received serious nerve damage. I am actively shaking. I cannot stealth.
Which is why the guard uniforms would be useful. Many guards have had trauma of this sort. You see them all around the city. I point at the next table of.
Yeah, the person they immediately can tell you're pointing at them, and they give you a dirty look.
Like,
They don't
I
hear what you're
wave.
saying. You ask for space. They can tell anyways that you're
they know.
they know.
I wave.
Their eyes narrow slightly even further.
So what you're suggesting is one of us gets hired as a guard, and then
What I'm
opens the
suggesting
back door for the other two.
is all 3 of us get hired as guards.
Mm.
Or there
We
might
were
be
picked up for this because of our skill at our last adventure. Why not use that to pitch ourselves as competent new chicks?
Yes. For what I know about eagles, they dig chicks.
They do dig chicks. So I think the first order of business will be getting chick outfits.
Yes.
All right.
I can do that. I do cosplay on the side.
Excellent.
Alright, that's one problem down. That's the chicks down. What were the other
Now,
issues?
what do we know about the ink golem?
The ink golem, yes. We
Yes.
didn't have a code word for that, if I remember correctly. Ink
The
golem
sibling?
works fine. I
well,
know ink golems can crush us like little bugs. No
So
offense.
I have a talent in ink tech.
Oh,
Can I make a
Do
roll
you
to
know
you can
more?
totally make an archive roll with advantage to see what you might know about ink golems in
All right.
general.
Ooh, that's
Low is good.
Low is good. So
Well,
that's
considering my archive is 5, I think either of those works.
Yep, perfect. So, the ink golem, I'll give you a picture of the ink golem actually, even though you haven't seen it yet. The ink golem will happen to look like this, which does look like it could probably squish you like a bug.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the ink golem will probably be a towering metal golem powered by a sealed ink-filled core. These golems are obviously extremely expensive, extremely powerful. They're usually used to do guard patrol, but also to do manual labor. They have no autonomy in and of themselves. They are able to intelligently interpret commands, though. They're not gonna get you on technicalities. They Typically, what you know though is that the golems don't have an easy like friend and foe sensor thing. Like if it sees you and doesn't recognize you, it might attack or something like that. What's common is that some kind of like identifying sigil of some kind that is like extremely custom and often sometimes intentionally obscure um, is worn or used or marked on people that the golem is meant to be friendly towards and to listen to. Um,
When you talk about a sigil used on people, are you talking a tattoo, something, or
it
just like,
totally
look,
varies. It
I
could be
have a
like anyone who
fabric?
wears this hat, or anyone who's like has this weird gem embedded in their left eye, or anything in between the two levels of weirdness. It could be
So
if you wear something. It could be if you look anything that would change your appearance from huge to minor. Usually, it's like a single consistent thing that all of the people will share. So it could be a pin that someone might wear for like that. That's um, each person using the golem will can reprogram it and use it in a different way. Um, but that's the common practice for like telling it who to listen to.
we should definitely observe the guards for a day to figure out a good rotation, what their names are, what they like for lunch, and also what the "don't smush me robot" power
Well,
is.
I
uh,
mean, if you're straight up getting hired as a guard, we should be able to get that through orientation as they're introduced to, the golem, so
well,
that
that sort of
they're not
depends on
squished.
if the guards go inside the vault.
Hmm,
The golem might
that's
just be
fair.
guarding the vault, so only those who would see the vault. So someone who would get an invitation.
Do we have
How do
any
we kill it?
information on the golem? And more importantly, how do we drain its ink out?
Yes, we,
Yes.
we could solve our infinite
You'd have
wizard
to
problem.
destroy it, and it does in fact have self-defense protocols. The only ones who can deactivate those are the actual owner, not just anyone who has that
Mm,
significant thing. Like there's like, yeah.
there's like
So
admin privileges.
basically, there's admin and there's user, and then there's unknown.
Hmm.
Unknown
Oh, so
is usually the like it'll attack you because it assumes you're an intruder.
now how hard would it be? So does the admin also need like a special like let's say it's a pin for everyone, or do they have like a special different thing?
They usually have actually what they usually have is code word. It's they have the normal the normal whatever identifying marker they have, plus like specific code word series. So they can
Okay,
change those though. And they probably
right.
like it's common practice to change them relatively frequently. So it's a lot more understandably difficult to like you would need to usually they just keep them in their heads and you would need to
Right.
like overhear them say it to the golem but then like catch the golem before they change it, which
Mm.
is hard.
Do golems typically have any weak spots? That chink between their armor and their gem, anything like that? How
Not
do
that
we
you
get
can
the ink
see.
out?
um what you do know is that because they're made of metal, they can be embedded with like tools or other weird things. Like some of the golems are just normal, like big metal people, and some of them are like, I mentioned that example about someone growing an arm that can be a flamethrower. Someone could add a flamethrower to a golem. Like you can get kind of modular with it. So there's no reliable weak point, and some people can add extra capabilities to them.
Mm. So I mean, this is long shot, but if we get the admin phrase, then we could just take the golem.
Yes.
Okay.
That feels like a real long shot.
Yeah, it's
I
super long shot.
feel like we're either 50-50 going to have to hide from the golem or kill it. And
Mm.
I don't really see any
Us
other
killing it.
option besides those two.
Yeah.
I like the idea of killing it, but I'd rather not have to go up against it until we have the actual void blast blade, because before that,
Yeah.
there's no way that thing's not armored up to the nine.
Yeah.
Or
So
whatever
tabling-
else is in there.
Yeah. So tabling the golem. There's a wizard door.
What?
What do you mean
Vault
wizard
door?
door?
Yeah.
If it's a normal vault door, I've got lockpicks. I've got many, many lockpicks. Don't ask why.
Okay. So you're on top of the wizard door. All right.
As long as it doesn't require magic, and if it does, we have magic for that.
Yeah. So
I don't
think
believe
what
I
we
have a magic that is get rid of magic.
do.
I do not.
No. Okay.
My spells are Vortex of Blinding Fire, Prison of
The
Avenging
classic.
Memory, and Steam Silhouette.
I mean,
You
fire.
could create a
Maybe
steam
steam
silhouette to open
could
the
get through a
safety
crack
valve
in the
on
door.
I was saying you could use it to open a safety valve on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Yes, but again, I only have 11 drops on me.
How much do you need to open a door?
Well, it would depend on if
So
that
it seems
is.
like a minor. That sounds
If it's minor,
to
it's
me.
2d6, but
If we're going into an adventure, into a heist, I can do what I can to make sure you're supplied with the money,
I can lend you
spell
20
power
bucks,
you need. Yes,
but
exactly.
I would like I will need 25 in return. Horsecraft is not cheap, it turns out.
what is a horse?
A horse is a fabulous animal that has come to my mind. It'll pull us across the desert like nothing you have ever seen.
Like
That
an
is
eagle.
technically correct.
Not like an eagle, like a horse. It has 6 legs and a long face. I'm thinking with enough time and effort, we can give it even more legs and it can pull hundreds of wagons and breathe fire.
But why the long face?
You see, it seems the most efficient for breathing while carrying a wagon. Or so my dreams have told me.
Yes, it allows it to pant more easily.
Okay.
More
It
airs.
must. It's the only reason I can think of.
All right. So we have 14 days to make a better plan than we sneak in and steal it.
I believe one of you said
It
you
is the
wanted to
plan
go
currently.
observe them for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think the tests are figure out how to kill a golem, figure out how to open a door, figure out how to get hired as guards, observe the guards.
I'm happy to go get us hired.
I'm adding a thing that is figure out if there's a party happening soon.
Okay, sure.
Okay, which one do you want? Which one do we want to see first? We have probably time for one, maybe two more before we go on a break. Who goes first? So, I believe this
we
is kind of
able
like
to
in
get all
your
these done?
hands.
Yeah.
Are we able to get all these done as opposed to like these aren't downtime actions? These are just go.
You're splitting up, so like we'll track how many days have passed. If you have the perfect plan, you could steal it in a day. If everything goes right, so like you're probably fine.
Ideally, I'd like to steal things early so that we can decide if we're
I
doing
mean,
anything.
we could
with
pretty
it.
easily call it one roll per day per character.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to.
We
Yeah.
have 14 days.
You have 14
How many-
days.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. We'll
And
see how
then
it
like
goes.
we'll call it 13. We'll call it 12 days to play it
All right.
safe, and the last 2 are the actual heist.
So if you've ever played Metaphor, I'm going to say on the dawn of the first day, we have 14 days till your job is due. What do you do? And I'm going to keep saying that every time a day passes.
What are normal hiring practices in this city? Do I need a resume?
Days remaining.
I mean, this one seems to be let's wander up to the person on the street and say
14.
we'll give you money if you steal a
I
thing.
feel like you've been given a persona like objective.
Yeah, this is a random person giving us a very large task.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, what is normal hiring practices? Is there any prep I can do for I will be getting us hired as guards?
Sounds like you're gathering information. This is probably archives, but it might also work to do a different stat. if you're
happy to roll
asking
archive.
around, you could do
Mask.
I think mask.
Can I roll archive with a advantage from trade tongue?
Yes.
All right. Let's learn hiring
Trade tongue?
practices.
The common
Oh wait,
tongue?
trade tongue is normal. Do you mean something else? Trade tongue is common. Everyone speaks trade tongue.
I tried.
Okay.
I did not actually know that, but I mean, it's
I thought it was
normal
like
to
I thought you were
make
talking about like some
contracts.
kind of merchant's cant, and I was like, I guess, yeah.
Well, Rift speak sounds kind of useless.
Rough speak
So.
is for a different region. You need to use it there.
I like how a lot of the backgrounds give you like a language that is not useful to where
Yeah,
you are.
it's like, all right, go get out there and use that language.
I can read library books.
Me too.
All
I
right,
guess I can also read receipts by that token.
make the roll.
All right.
That is
Nope.
under that is a failure. Okay. And your question,
What?
you were trying to gather information about the guards' hiring practices. Cool.
Not even the guards specifically, just general hiring
Oh,
practices.
so not for these people, but like,
Yes, I just wanted to know, do I need to write up a resume?
okay. So if you want to apply as a guard, you need to prove that like you failed, so you won't know for sure, but like you need to prove you can fight, you need to prove you can guard, you need to prove you can be trusted. You don't know any more than that in terms of details. That's all you find out.
Fair enough.
Yeah, a lot of guarding is sitting around and doing nothing. So prove
Then
you
my
can.
first day is information gathering around that, and it went about as well as that did.
Okay.
But I think the others have their days.
Yep. What do you do for? What does everyone else do on your first day of the job?
I would like to get myself a sandwich and a thermos of chilled juice.
Yep.
And sit
Chilled pickle juice is
on a
probably like something weird.
yeah, something weird.
Chilled
I'm gonna
cactus
sit
juice.
across the street from the place we're gonna be robbing, and begin drawing intricate portraits of
Perfect.
all of the guards.
So,
Because you have painter stuff, right?
I have scribing tools as I gather
Excellent.
information about them.
so
In case the hiring goes bad, we'll have disguises.
I'm gonna ask
Oh.
two questions. My first question is when you are observing them, like you can see, like it's kind of busy. There's quite a few staff in the tower. So the surround you like it's not hard to find out where the place is. The
Yeah,
tower,
it's on the map.
it's a walled. This isn't actually the tower, even though it's called the Shattered Tower. It's within House Setru's estate, but it's it's probably like next door to it. It's not. It's its own walled compound.
So it's not number 19. Okay.
No, it's not number 19. As
I think it's
impressive as that is.
Kind
of. I'm actually.
This makes this more doable.
I'm not.
Makes it more doable, but it's not number 19.
Yeah, it's not this like
Yeah.
ancient super thing. No. I'm not seeing what looks like it's obviously it anywhere on the map, but
It's in the neighborhood.
sorry, I'm wrong.
There's a
It is
bunch
here.
of little towers.
I can see it. It is unnumbered. It is that specific region. That is it. So it's this walled compound. There's a so because there's a wall surrounding it. And if I look at the region, there's actually a wall surrounding a lot of the various areas in Hightown. As you're in you're basically in the noble houses district. So they all have their own like individual walled compounds with their own guards and their own I don't know, maybe their own golems. Are you trying to observe over the wall?
Yeah, I'm up at a tree in that park that is conveniently located right next to them.
Yeah, the one that's like the one here with the extra tall trees.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a tree drawing them. I have changed vantage points from park bench to tree as a result of finding out where the wall is.
Perfect. All right. Inside you can see there's several there's like more than 6 and less than a dozen, but probably close to a dozen people.
I spend all day drawing all of them.
Okay. There's a few things you will notice immediately, just like at first glance them out of the roll. Firstly, he also has a pet panther.
Oh, Jesus.
I've never seen a panther before.
It's purple.
Oh my god, are all panthers purple?
This is maybe if this is the first panther you've seen, they must be.
First panther I've seen. I've only heard tell of the elusive panther.
Yes.
The
I read
purple
about
panther of
the.
Athromir.
I've read about a pink panther in a comic strip
Yeah,
before.
and this is
that is what I studied at the
their evil
library
brother
and
or
was kicked out
something.
for.
Yeah, the evil
Yes,
sibling.
this is why I was kicked out of the library. Is the comics.
Understandable.
Yes,
I had to
yes.
have a reason why I was kicked out, and it was my non-serious taste in literature.
Yep.
So I'm well read up on a pink panther. I assume this one is also a master detective.
That would be trouble if it was. So you'll have your work cut
Yeah.
out for you.
I sketched the panther diligently.
Excellent.
Maybe this should inspire my horse designs.
Excellent. So I'm going to give you a portion of a map that you will be able to go. I want to. It's not the right thing. How do I hide everything on? Oh, I'll just draw big square. Hide the area. Hide full page. Ah, there's the button for hide full page. Reveal area. Interesting. Okay. Have a map. You can see the entire compound. So there's a meticulously kept garden with the tower itself right in the center. Actually, I'm going to give you another picture as well. This is not going to be on the map. This is going to be a handout that shows you what the tower will look like as you observe it. Yes. There we go. That's roughly what the tower looks like from the outside. Right in the center. There's also a single-story building next to it in the corner here. The entire rest of the compound is a meticulously maintained garden with a pond and various like plants and like various gorgeous looking flora from not even across the like Electrum Sea, but like from probably imported from around all of Orne. You also spot in front of the front gate, there's roughly 2 guards there at a time, which switch out for another 2 guards at a certain point during your single day of observing. You can make out the number of staff and people, I guess is the right way to put it, of the tower.
And do I need a roll?
I will check with that in a sec. These are stuff you would get before the roll. There's about 10 people, including the 4 guards. You see the golem. It seems to be patrolling day and night, though it's occasionally called upon to assist in like menial labor tasks. You can recognize like we'll tell you like I'll detail you later, but you can like each of the members of the people there have their own distinct appearances. One person's clearly like a butler, one person's clearly a gardener, one person seems to be clearly a cook. Like there are. If you spot them closer up, I will tell you what you know. My question to you is, you also do spot Tersar himself. Are you watching a specific area of the tower, trying to track a specific person's movements or something like that? Or are you at this point just getting like lay of the land, general like do you want to get some information about everything or a lot of information about one person, place, etc.?
Well, this is the first day, so this seems like there's some information about everything, and then when the 3 of us meet up for wine and cheese,
Yeah.
we can discuss.
Yeah.
And then was it 10 staff with the 4 guards, or
10 staff already includes the 4 guards. There's 4 guards
Yeah.
plus 6 plus
okay, so 6 staff.
So
Yeah,
nearly doubling their number of guards is probably not going to work so well.
Yeah,
No.
probably not.
No.
6
These are good things to know.
Yeah, and
This is good to
that's
know.
number 6 includes Tursar Setru himself.
Does that include the Panther?
It does not include the Panther. It's not staff.
So
It also
5
does not include the
staff
Golem.
plus 1 wizard.
Plus 1 wizard, plus Golem, plus 4 guards,
Okay.
plus 1 Panther. Plus, in the morning, not long after you start observing, a merchant comes to drop off supplies, and the guards like see them coming and automatically open the gate for them in advance, based on like obvious observation. The merchant like the guards just let him through and he just go like he seems extremely familiar with the place. He let me double check something. Does he drop himself off directly? Does he drop his stuff off at the door, or does he drop his stuff off? He drops his stuff off at the door. So he doesn't. The merchant himself doesn't actually enter into the compound, but he talks with the guards. He seems extremely like friendly with them, and like he knows them quite well. He's familiar. And he drops off like crates of food and supplies. Basically, you assume it's food because most of them seem to be bringing it into the. I think as they start bringing them up, they pile some of the crates up on the top of the stairs that you can see, like the outer stairs on the right side of the tower in the picture. And then the person that obviously looks like the cook comes out and like checks some of the crates. You also notice that Tursar himself left the tower that afternoon, came back later that evening. I think for general information, that might be everything. I'm going to double check. Yeah. That's what you got for your first day. I think with that, we'll go to break.
No roll necessary. All right.
I don't think there's a roll necessary for your first general information one, no.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll get. If you want to keep observing, we'll talk about it. There's potential ways to do that. But either way, we'll be back in a few minutes. See how this goes. We have our first layout of the tower that you'll be stealing stuff from. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we are back. Part 2, Episode 3 of the Electrum Archive. So, Jordan, I don't think we've seen Colin's downtime action yet, have we? Or haven't I forgotten, maybe?
No, we
No.
haven't
No,
seen
we
what
haven't.
he does for the heist for this day.
For day 1
The
of
dawn of
heist.
the first day.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think he's gonna go schmoozing around to be like, oh, talking about like, oh, maybe I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna go schmoozing, right? But he's gonna pull out the ghost dagger and be like, oh, like basically try to do it as like a trade thing.
Try to give
Trade
away
how?
our ghost
Yeah, I was
dagger.
gonna say, are you giving it away? Offering it as payment?
No, like, I want to trade the ghost dagger for some other like item, and I'm like leaning toward this guy, right?
You're trying to get this guy's
Oh.
interest and lure him to talk
Yes.
to you.
Pretending. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I like it. Yeah, this definitely feels like Mask.
Yeah.
With advantage because you have, I believe,
I have influence, politics, and trade.
Yeah, you have advantage for sure.
2d10. KL1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. My mask is 5.
Nice. So, I think someone approaches you after a bit as you're spending the day looking at this, and I think we see probably like later when you meet up tonight, you might compare notes. This is, you don't know this in character, but this is the merchant who dropped the stuff off at the manor. Approaches you after a couple hours of you talking to people. He heard from other merchants that you were talking to, like, hey, there's this thing. And he says that he would very much love to buy this off of you. He thinks he knows someone who'd be very interested in it. And so he approaches you, and he, like, clearly it seems like he's just gonna do like the normal merchant thing. He'll buy it from you, he'll sell it to him. Like, you have an in with him, but right now he already has an agenda in mind based on what your previous role of like looking for a buyer. If you want to like take advantage of that in a specific way, that you might need to do something on top of it to.
Right.
So what do you do as he approaches you? He explains the situation. He says, like, yeah, he's willing to offer, like, it's too early to talk numbers, but he's willing to like probably offer a decent amount.
Oh, my good fellow. Well, I'm looking more for a trade of and less of currency, more of a item for item. Now perhaps if this benefactor you're wishing to sell this blade to, if you could perhaps facilitate a meeting between him and I to see what is on the table. It's anything else I could find in the deep for him.
Yeah. I think this would be, you want to basically use your artifact to arrange a private meeting with this guy.
The eagle.
Yes,
the eagle.
with the eagle.
Of course.
I think this will probably be another roll of masks again. You'll have advantage again. In this case, like, it's still enough of a big opportunity. The merchant either way is going to ask like for your name, and he's going to ask for details. He's going to arrange probably a meeting with you. Not tomorrow. He actually explains that he only visits the manor generally every second day, and he already went today. So he can meet you on like the third day of your 14-day calendar. This is probably the same time, basically, like after he's gone and talked to him. So in 2 days he'll be back here to meet with you to tell you what's up. That works.
Bully.
But I think this role is going to determine like if the person you're trying, like, the merchant's all into it. If
he could convince
if the
other
eagle
guy.
gets convinced, and how like open he is, and how much he's like, oh, this is a weird magic dagger I've never heard of, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, roll masks.
Bully 5.
5, which is your number, I believe. So yeah.
Yes.
So you think you have a hook, but you'll have to wait a couple days to reel it in.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's my business card. Flick my
Right.
business card.
Yeah.
For your merchant house.
I'm Colin Camden of Camden Enterprises. It is a subsidiary of Camden Global Enterprises.
Excellent.
I love how we built a institution and it wasn't yours.
No.
Yeah. Eventually, you might want to get on that of increasing the reputation of your institution. Otherwise, you are going to be doing this forever of digging stuff up and selling it one by one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or subsidiary of the bug people.
So, the first day ends. I will.
They are looking for a trading partner.
They are looking for a trading partner, the bug people.
You'd have to compete with the actual merchant houses, though. That's a bit difficult.
Yes, but I could be.
But not if they're all boycotting.
Man.
But not if they're all boycotting the bug people. There's nothing to compete against.
Okay, well, there we go.
A problem for another time, but also
you're saying I need to make the bug people's situation worse, and then they're only left with me.
Only you.
Ah, capitalism.
If you're the last resort, you can charge whatever.
Let me Google the text, I believe. For Metaphoria Fantasio, I believe it says the text is like the dawn of a new age is here, and then X days until the timeline's up. So
Do we have any change in plans as we discuss? And
there's
like,
large
yeah,
ominous ticking sounds in the background.
Yeah. So last night over wine and cheese, I fill everyone in on the Panther situation and how that does add a new wrinkle as there is a vicious beast prowling the grounds.
and the 4 guards as
Yeah, the 4 guards, the butler, the cook, the
Actually, yeah, I'll you don't know any details about them yet, but there's 4 guards, butler, cook, gardener, kitchen hand, and maid.
Did so when you were watching, did the golem ever come out like here, or did it stay in like?
It did come
You
out.
said
I
it
think
like
we saw the golem. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw
okay,
the golem
so
on both in the tower at various times and on the grounds at various times.
okay, so that means that the golem, like did they have something that was similar amongst all of their stuff? Like, did they have like a pin? Did they have a symbol on their clothes? Like,
as I flip through all of the pictures I
You
drew of them.
you did. You're on your first day. You haven't been able to get enough detail to know for sure.
I'll return tomorrow for more detailed
What-
imagery.
What I will say is there was nothing obvious. They're not like all wearing a giant mushroom on their head or something.
and they all don't have like a diamond eye or something.
No, no. No, actually, if they would, you wouldn't easily be able to tell from the distant treetops.
Yeah. All right.
Do you perchance have a spyglass?
Unless that is
Opens.
in a healing toolkit or disguised toolkit, I do not.
Dungeoneering toolkit gives me rope, crowbar, hammer, and spikes. That's where I would have thought a spyglass would be, but
Navigation toolkit includes a small telescope. It's 15 drops.
Tomorrow I'll return with a small spyglass and get better descriptions.
All right.
Excellent. I believe I have an in with a merchant who says he will sell to. I'm trying to get him to be the middleman of the meeting.
So you're trying to figure out how to get
It-
past all of the doors and whatnot.
And it's in 2
Yes.
days, just a heads up, Colin. Like
In 2 days.
tomorrow, you're free. You aren't meeting
Yes.
with a merchant. Okay.
do they have a gardener among
They do
all
have a
those
gardener. Yes. So, you have it's a middle-aged woman. That's all you've been able to pick up so far.
Are we gonna kill her?
I'm thinking maybe not kill, but take place.
Oh.
I mean, I have this, and I hold up the random herbal elixir that I still don't know what it is from the last dungeon.
Oh yes, the herbal elixir. How
The
could we have
herbal
forgotten?
extra.
I think by now you'll know what that is. By the end of the adventure, you'll know what that is. Let me
Great. What is it?
pull it up.
You didn't go take that to someone yet and be like, "Hey, what is this?"
No, you're passing out
mean,
pamphlets.
I
You had a
was
whole
busy.
month to identify the extract.
Pamphlets are more important,
So,
obviously.
this is a sealed flask of dream stock extract. Inhaling the fumes induces a deep coma.
Ooh,
That feels effective and useful.
Very useful.
that feels like a good
So it
way
looks
to
like-
take out
Oh,
4
wizard.
chicks.
It is. I found a typo there.
4 chicks. Or 1 panther.
Or 1 panther.
It's 1 flask, so I think that you could either loudly shatter the vial somewhere and take out a group of people in close proximity to each other, or get one person to smell the vial like uncork it and get one person to smell it, and take one person out quietly, and then recork
What
the
if I
bottle.
was to get a rag and dump the hallucinatory liquid onto it and smother guards and panthers alike?
You don't know if it'll necessarily work on panthers, but that would work. It would still be one at a time, and
Now,
dangerous.
this might be very useful if the wizard comes out of the tower to meet me.
You're not getting this. This is our emergency anti-panther methods.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
You spent enough money. Sorry, your allowance is cut until we get this heist.
But how am I supposed to buy things? You can't cut me off like Papa. Like Copernicus Camden.
You don't call him father anymore.
No, I call him Copernicus. Because he cut me off.
I think it's that you spent your trust fund on that blazing fire spell, didn't you?
Yeah,
You don't know that?
you sniffed your trust fund.
Yeah, he's like, I sent you to wizard school. You didn't learn a spell. Here's your like allowance for your life. Go make your money. And I went, all right. Just,
Now what?
Yep.
Do I have supplies?
Okay.
I'll start my own business.
So with the meeting that we have kind of arranged, are we actually meet, or is the intention for the dagger seller to actually meet with the wizard on day 3, or is it more a matter of, okay, we'll report back, we'll have set up a meeting for a future day?
The last one is what the merchant implied. He will go talk to the wizard, convince him to set up a future. Like the merchant will be the go-between at first, but if it goes well, you might be invited in. That could be useful.
Yes.
You
I
could
think we
maybe
should
go as your
run.
bodyguards?
Yeah, I think we should run a couple plans. Like we keep
Yeah.
working on. I'll keep working
Yeah.
on intel. You keep working on getting us hired, and we'll see which one meets to the finish line first.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who's
All right.
what are we doing on this new day?
Well, mine seems pretty straightforward. I go and I get a small telescope,
Perfect.
and I
You
use
spend
it to
the
further
ink.
my observations and get better detailed drawings of everyone in the compound, and
All right.
more drawings of the panther.
Perfect. So, there's 2 ways to handle this level of observation. I will let you decide which one you want to do. One is you get and create detailed pictures of every person and a timetable of where they are and have to sift through them yourself as a player. Or 2, you ask me one question per day you spend observing them, or like one subject. So if you want to know more about like the staff, they would actually count as a joint subject. If you want to know about the guards, or want to know about like the weird inhabitants, the panther and golem. If you want to know more about like the building layout, if you want to know more about Tursar himself, like you could ask me one thing that you're focusing on with Spyglass, and get
I mean,
lots
day
of
one. That we'll do the 1 day per question
make it
option. That makes the most sense. So we don't need to literally sit here and debate it. First and foremost, I'm looking for the magic golem insignia.
perfect.
That's the
So
first order of business on the first day.
yeah, so you, from what I can like, I don't think observation takes a role. It's just a matter of spending the entire day doing it and getting some information. So you spend all day looking at the golem, looking at like what are people are wearing, trying to figure out exactly with the spyglass like what is being worn by everyone. And you eventually conclude that while with the spyglass is probably the only way you would have easily spotted it. You would have had to maybe get a bit closer than you would be comfortable to spot it without it. Every single person there wears a an amulet, an engraved silver disc embedded with a small red gemstone. Even with the spyglass, you can't see what the engraving says, and that might be important. You would probably need to get your hands on an amulet, like legitimately. Maybe then you could copy it, but you probably can't like make one from scratch without having one.
Okay. We know what the amulet. We know what it is at least now. So
Yes.
Do the guards out front also wear it?
They do.
Okay.
But they're guards up front, but they're behind the gate by default.
Mm,
The I think for the golem itself, it's like patrol route effectively. So during the morning, let's see, in the early morning it's in the gardens. It enters then it enters the tower, and you can probably see it. Actually, you see that it goes into the top chamber of the tower. Just below the top chamber is like an open, large windowed garden, so you can see while the smaller windows you would have more trouble seeing through there. Though again, you have a spyglass. You can clearly see it makes its way up up to the top chamber itself. So it starts in the gardens, makes its way to the top chamber. Then it goes down to stand guard at the entrance to the tower near the doors during around noon. Stays there for a while. Patrols the gardens again evening and all night.
gardens at night.
It basically controls the gardens from evening until morning.
Okay.
Then it goes upstairs to the top room to stand guard for a bit. Then it goes to the bottom floor to stand guard for a bit, and then it repeats. This is again this isn't 100% clockwork. Golem or not, it will still sometimes be called by other people to help with menial labor once or twice. That's probably part of what when the merchant yesterday delivered his crates, the golem probably carried most of them.
Yeah, like the route is the default, and then specific orders stack on top.
Yeah.
mhm.
But yeah, observing the golem, that's what you get. So if you are in other rooms, the golem specifically, like the golem never goes into this top right building, for example. Not by default.
Okay.
Nor does
I'll
it go
type that on the
into
map.
the building like the smaller chamber to the right of the right portion of the tower. It never goes into there.
Yeah. So I think we're quickly coming upon the amount of information we need. The main one still seems to be how do we get in? Because now we have a timetable. Evening's the best time because the golem's outside. So as long as we don't trigger him, we can get away from it. We can steal an amulet for a default safety measure. Now we just
Easier
need to
than
know where
not
the
triggering him. Have me trigger him and see if
And
he
then
just
run
fights
away.
attacks
the
the cat.
golem. Just run around the whole
Yeah.
time. That works too. Some way to deal with the golem, but we know it's going to be outside the tower in the at night, so that's probably the
Right.
best attack opportunity. We have to figure out how to get in. We need to know where the vault is like I think the last big hurdle, and we can
I'd really
drug
like
the
to know
panther.
what protections are actually on the vault door, just in case lockpicks themselves are not going to do
Yeah,
it. So
I
I'm
think
hoping that
Yeah.
the meeting tomorrow will do that.
I think that's the main goal of this dagger meeting. Because, like, we're gonna rob him anyway, and I don't think he's gonna trade for that sword.
Yeah.
No, this dagger's probably a lot less valuable. It's
Yeah, a
not
lot less valuable
valueless,
than that.
but it's not as valuable.
Yeah, so if we could just use this as an opportunity to figure out what the vault details are, that's probably the best case scenario for that.
Yeah.
Though I'm not sure that drugging the panther is going to work. I think we want a secondary plan for that.
Let's kill it.
Let's kill
Yeah.
it. Let's make it a
That's-
friend.
That is plan B. Make a friend is a long shot, because I don't think any of us know how to do that.
I
Panther
believe
or otherwise.
I believe the Panther is influenced and is deeply into politics.
Yeah.
Panther is in fact on the city council.
Yep.
Yeah. The Panther has their like 4 axes like political thing like just hanging up in their room.
Yeah, and they're like above their like cat bed.
Obviously, they're authoritarian, right? That's what
obviously,
Obviously,
because
they
they are the
Panther.
authority.
They are
and they
captain
are right
of the world.
Yeah.
Then they're correct.
Yeah, all cats are authoritarian, right?
Okay, so the golem doesn't go here, and then they also don't go in here.
Do we know what this
waiting for
building is
what's
at
the
all?
second here?
So they don't go in here, and they don't go in here.
Correct. Not by default.
Okay.
That second building, I think you've observed it enough to put together it's probably like a servant's quarters or dormitory of some kind for most of the staff. In terms of like sleeping quarters during the night, anyone who's sleeping who isn't like the wizard would be sleeping probably in.
Right. Hold on, I'm just trying to give us like a little.
You've seen many times people will go in there and stay there for hours at a time.
Is there just one door into it?
Or there's a couple.
There are several doors. I'll mark them. There's like a door here, and a door here, and a door there, and there's also windows all around.
Okay.
That sounds like dormitories, like quarters. Like there's a couple different separated bunk rooms and like a common communal area.
But I guess trapping them in there is not going to be really effective.
I'll redraw this to be.
Do we know where the wizard is living? Just in the central tower?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's living in the tower. That is what you know for now.
I think the next thing we should probably get like a pattern on is the Panther.
Well,
I think the Panther's the wild card, really.
Yeah.
For day 2 action, I'd like to just talk around the city and basically see, all right, what do you know about this wizard? No, that's a little bit obvious. Never mind.
I mean, that's up to you. You can try to do it without.
I will hand out some pamphlets outside of the gate and see if I can get any of his staff to be interested, not so much in the pamphlets, but just I want to strike up a conversation, make friends by virtue of pamphlets, which everyone has seen me doing before.
The funny part is, because of what we've established about them like having meetings with the houses, and this guy being the second in command to one of those houses, he's probably met with like the ear like king princedom before. So what are you trying to do as part of that then? You're trying to
Mostly I'm trying to strike up a little bit of friendship or conversation with whoever might be interested, whether that be one of the guards, him himself. I'm mostly probably looking at the guards and staff just so that there's a backup in if, hey, you know me, I wouldn't do anything horrible.
Sure. So you what time of day are you doing this? Will determine which guards you encounter.
All day. This is my day action.
So you're like doing it.
I'm on the street corner. If I'm getting senses of people are really not happy about it, I will move away and try again later. but I'm going to try and make friends and strike up conversation
All of
with
them.
all of the
Perfect.
staff.
Okay. In that case, so none of the
Friendly pop propagandist.
none of the
out front.
staff tend to by default. None of the staff leave the compound. So only the if you would have to approach the guard gate to talk to the guards and talk to them through the gate. But if you do that during you can do that with all 4 guards if you do that at different times.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's, hey, look, I'm bored in between, waving these pamphlets around. Want to talk about sports to make life less boring? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sports ball.
Sport?
Orts.
Sport ball.
Perfect.
I heard the home team did well.
Yep. Gotta love that, I don't know, Electrum ball. Everyone loves Electrum ball. Okay.
The ball is made of metal and chuck it at each
Oh, yeah.
other.
It's actually extremely deadly. It's also extremely popular.
It's a blood sport.
Yeah, blood sport.
So I think if you're just, I don't think this is going to be a roll. Not all downtimes not all of these days spent need a roll. So you can tell me if you want to push for something, but by default, I'll give you a rundown on your first impressions on all of the guards.
Sure.
Okay. So, there are 4 guards from early morning until noon. You have Leela and Mortwin. Leela is the head guard. And she is she seems the most how would I put this?
Murderable?
Least distractible. So she's the one who she'll still talk to you, but she'll grumble about no, we're supposed to be on duty. We can't talk that much. She'll try to pull away from the conversation. But she's with Mortwin. So I'll put, we have Leela and Mortwin. He is a short, scarred man. He seems to he seems to make cynical cracks and jokes, very dry humor. And he seems like he's very bored and perfectly happy to chat with you. He's not actively, he doesn't seem happy to see you. He seems happy for the distraction. During the at noon, shift changes happens, and then you meet Donus and Onai. Donus is a lanky, jaded man who just is where Mortwin before is cynical and dry and bored. Jonas is just seethes with apathy, is just coming off him in ways he does not care about this job. He's I'm 25 and cannot wait to retire. Please let me. He does not enjoy himself here. And Onai, on the opposite end, is the fresh-faced recruit who's still learning the ropes, and he's kind of excited. He's not excited about everything, but he's bouncing between I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm happy to talk to you. I'm what are you doing? I haven't what's this about the ear? He seems like he hasn't met many ear.
I think with the second batch.
We suddenly lost your camera.
Did I
Okay.
turn my camera? There we go. I think with the second batch with Donus and Onai, my conversation starts turning to, yes, the wonderful life of an adventurer. Did you know that this is how I got in touch with the ear? I recently did this amazing quest. Isn't it amazing? Maybe that might be a better line of work for you. It sounds much more interesting than standing guard or gives you more opportunity to do exciting things, oh fresh-faced recruit.
Excellent.
I'm trying to see there are better job opportunities out there for you.
Okay. You do you want to accomplish something with this, or do you want to learn more about him, or do you want to like find
Not
an avenue
necessarily.
with which to exploit him?
Later, this might be a thing to, exploit for, uh, yes, I quit my job. Hey, look, they need some new guards. And, or, uh,
Isn't it convenient how the other guards will be like, isn't it convenient how the person who was talking to the guy who quit is now offering to replace him?
yeah,
Not suspicious at all.
no. That's what the warrior is for, who hasn't been seen doing
That's
anything.
fair. He's just behind them all with a
The
big
person in
shiny
the tree that's
spyglass.
been drawing pictures of us for the past week.
And none of you have even noticed.
No, they're busy standing guard at the door. It's the panther who should be, or the golem who'd be noticing the trees over there.
Yeah, that's fair. So you just
But
want
yeah,
to...
no,
Okay.
right now it's just kind of a seed of, depending, we might go there, use that for something else.
All right. He does talk with you a bit about himself. You learn Onai is the third son of a small merchant family in vassalage to House Setru. So he probably didn't. He's interested and excited to see the city, but he's both from a small town and doesn't really have a choice in the job. He's sent by his family to serve the house.
He's just
What
a
about-
small town girl living in a lonely world. It's
Yeah.
What
I
about
mean, that ain't
Donus?
going anywhere.
Marissa?
Yes, I heard. What about Donus?
Donus doesn't really have much to say about himself, honestly. He's like, yeah, no, used to be a member of the Dust Watch, but this is way easier. He says that. He doesn't look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's looking for easy. He's not looking for a change in career of excitement.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So he sounds extremely bored, but his words say that he is
Looked for boredom.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good with me for this day.
Okay.
I
Jordan,
think
think
we've
we
got
have the
one more
meeting.
wizard action.
Yeah, Colin, what
Yes.
do you do?
I think I want this guy to have heard about me, like, before, like, his trader guy goes to, like, ask him. So I think I'm just, like, spreading awareness of, like, I'm a spelunker, like stuff like
You're
that.
spreading your legend, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that sounds very similar to what I was doing, so they kind of almost compound off each other there.
Let me check something real quick. See if you might stumble into something or not. Yes. So as you're spreading the word, I think you hear, like, someone may hear, like, oh, you have word has spread about you also of, like, you might be having a meeting with the Setru Warlock, like, sometime, like tomorrow, or
Right.
you're starting to talk to him. You hear from general, like, townsfolk that there's a rumor about him. Rumor isn't really the right way to put it, because it's not something that everyone believes, but it's a story that everyone has heard, all from the same source. And different people put different levels of, very few people trust the source. A woman named Sola has told everyone who will listen her sob story. According to them, bitter old drunk who lives in a dingy tenement in Duneside, has spent the last 3 months telling everyone she can about how her son disappeared because of, quote, that bastard Setru Warlock.
Mm. Okay.
He's stealing children.
So you can go see her if you want to, as part of the same day. You're still like you are spreading the word about you, but I think you already have advantage on the roll, or will already have advantage on rolls to talk to him because of your talents.
Right.
So I think this is other stuff you get as well.
Sure. I'll go.
How-
I'll go talk. Oh, go ahead.
I was just wondering, how old was the son-ish? Like, are we a talking child, or
You heard it from other people. Like they don't know.
Yeah.
okay? They don't
Yeah.
know
I'll
or
go.
care.
I was just being inflammatory.
I'll go find this old drunk.
Perfect. And yeah, she's not hard to find. She is currently, so you knock on the door and you can smell like the alcohol before she even answers. She looks, it's probably in the afternoon at this point by the time you heard about this and came to go see her. So she probably looks like she has been awake, but not very.
Mhm.
She says, "What do you want?"
Oh, good evening, madam. I believe I've been told tales of how you hate that quote secret warlock bastard.
You
And I
hear
want to hear your
what?
tale.
He send you? You finally heard
No.
enough?
No, I'm asking you. Instead of hearing it from everyone else, I want to hear it from you specifically. Perhaps I could help.
I don't got any money to pay you. She like looks very untrusting of like this free savior who's shown up.
Perhaps I could deal in information. It might have to do with your tale.
Fine, I'm not gonna look a gift not horse in the mouth.
Gift. I don't know what a horse is in the mouth.
Yeah.
A gift.
Oh
What
wait,
are the fuck is it
yeah,
called?
there's
Strider.
another
Strider
a
in the
gift
mouth.
strider in the mouth,
Gift
the like reptilian mouth. Yep,
It's sharp. They're ornery.
yep. She says, "Want to hear about my son?" I've yelled it till my voice was hoarse. He
Please, you don't need to
Tyrus.
yell. It's
Actually, yeah, she's gonna call him Tyrus. It was good boy, good kid, always trying to help me through my things when I was down. He fell in with a crew though, Godos. Don't know if you heard of them.
Have I?
Make an archives check.
Does politics, influence, or trade have anything to do here?
Yes, I think. Let's go with
Politics?
influence, actually.
Okay, influence. Okay. Oh, nope.
All right, no,
I've
you
not
don't know.
heard
You don't know
anything.
Godo.
I do not know who this Godot.
Member of the Syndicate,
Hmm.
and you have heard of the Golden Syndicate. Basically, there's a mob here.
Ah,
They are a
Only naturally.
yes. The Golden Syndicate is a mysteriously, very suddenly, and relatively recently organized crime group where all of the disparate like criminal factions in the city rapidly joined under one person called the
So
Gold.
this is like a new thing.
Relatively new, like in the last
Oh.
10 years.
I believe my cousin Channing Camden was a part of them. That rapscallion.
Yep.
I'm just making up family
yeah.
members now.
But the Golden Baron is the mysterious and like mysterious leader of the syndicate. No one knows much about him. Everyone knows that, but Gatto must be someone else within the syndicate. Solo describes how like he fell in with the crew. He wanted to prove himself to them. He saw the map of Tursar's tower and wanted to steal his collection single-handedly. She told him it was a terrible idea. He said he wouldn't do it, but one day he disappeared, and she thinks he went into the tower and never came back.
Well, that's extremely disheartening.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would try to steal from him single-handedly? It would at least take 3 people.
At least 3. At least 2
Yeah.
and 2 or 3. 1 outside
Yeah.
and 2 inside.
At least one will. The Panther will be full after one.
Yeah. I don't need to outrun. I don't need to outrun the Panther. I need to outrun my other person.
Yep.
And the ink golem.
Yes, and the ink golem. That's why you bring 2 other people.
That's
Yeah.
why you
One-
bring 2 other people. The ink golem will be full after the first one.
So,
So this is her just thinking he went in to steal.
yeah, she also says that she has, if you're willing to help, you mentioned you're willing to help.
Mhm.
She says if you are, she's willing to. She has copies of some of his sketches and notes, and will happily show them to you.
Well, of course, madam. This cannot stand.
Perfect.
We will break it and retrieve your child.
Yes, I shall find any information with your child. How long ago did this happen?
3 months.
Oh, so it's possible that he is still alive.
Not likely.
So she gives you 2 notes. Let me double check. Yep. 1, 2. That doesn't feel right. Give me a sec before I double check the notes. Interesting. Okay, so I was double checking. There's actually 2 ways to get this this handout you're about to get, and I was double checking that because I was like, "Am I giving you something you shouldn't get?" Nope. There's 2 ways to get it. So, firstly, she shows you a map that he drew of the entire inner tower. It looks like this.
See, I didn't need to waste a day doing this myself after all.
This is
No, this is the
inside,
interior.
which is
Okay,
really
Yeah.
helpful.
I said interior, right? Inside.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
did. So,
Mhm.
well, kitchen. Okay, so I assume this goes.
Those fish
first.
drawings concern me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the flying angler fish. Okay,
It's
puzzle
fine.
lock. Null silver
Also-
vault door.
So Null Silver, as a warlock, you would know automatically about Null Silver.
Uh-huh.
Null Silver's magic proof. It's just it's anti-magic metal.
Where is this study on this map? Is it under?
It doesn't. This is all you get. You get this actual drawing. So it's a circle.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. So lounge and well is the ground floor, right? You go up to the dining room kitchen, and then you go up to the guest rooms, and then you
Mhm.
go up to the pool garden, and then you go up to the bedchamber. Okay, but where's the vault?
And the study above. I think the vault must be underground then.
Oh wait, no,
Wait.
I think the vault. Wait, no, because bedchamber.
There is no clear avenue of access for either the study or the vault, is what I will say.
Okay. If I was to use my magical spelly power in the tower, could I tell what direction the vault is in?
What spell?
It is my
Your money finder?
Yes, my money finder. What is it called? Ink Sense
Okay.
under Warlock.
Hypothetically, yes, but you do know that realistically, probably not. Due to your knowledge in politics and stuff, you would know it is possible and common for people of this station to have protections against all manner of scrying magic, which this would count as.
Okay.
Yeah, if he wasn't a warlock, maybe, but
Yeah.
she does show you a second note as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple, this one.
The code.
I like
That's
this note.
helpful, but puzzle lock, that seems way too easy an answer for puzzle lock.
Well,
Let's
it
not
looks
focus
like
too much on puzzle lock. I'm very smart.
Okay, 086. I'm
I'm
gonna
5 out
assume
of
that is
10
the
smart.
vault code.
You may assume that.
We're really hoping it's the vault code.
We're hoping, because if
actually.
you look at the puzzle lock, it looks like it's like 3 circles, right? So
Yeah.
that would fit with the 3 numbers. Okay.
Wait. The flying fish means the study is in the sky. And the
Oh,
anglerfish means the vault door is under the tower.
Yeah, I think that this, like
uh,
the round thing on the top is the study, and I think that underneath is where the anchor, the vault is.
Well, because the vault looks like it's a natural cave underground, so I'm assuming the circle is on underground.
mm-hmm.
Or in magic space. So I
Yeah,
don't
because I
think
mean,
the vault is where that tree is, because that would be wrong.
I'm curious as to the point of the pool garden, if there is any points as to it aside from just luxury, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, it could be under that, but oh yeah, because I guess the golem only ever comes up to the pool garden.
It goes up past the pool garden. It goes up. You see it through the
Oh, it
obvious
goes up to the
windows there,
bedchamber.
but it goes up to the bedchamber.
Okay. And is the pool?
When
Does the
did it
pool
go up?
garden have a pool?
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
When in the day does it go up to the bedchamber?
Morning.
It was like
It goes up
noon,
in the
I thought,
morning.
right?
Actually, it's only it's up there
Oh,
during the morning. It goes up there at the start of the morning and leaves before noon.
And it just leaves to guard like the main floor at noon?
Then it goes down to the main floor to guard it. Then it patrols the garden until the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a heist that we should do once, fail at utterly trying to live, and then do it a second, like go in the second time for real.
Up to you.
I think
But the woman's. Let's continue the scene. Colin, the woman says to
Yeah.
you, like, I don't have anything, but if you can find out what happened to my boy, he's find out if there's anything left of him, bring him back to me. Bring it back to me.
I will do my best, madam. If there is evidence of foul play about, I will bring you the evidence, so you could take him to the authorities.
I'm not gonna do anything against him. I just need it for myself.
All right, I can do that.
And you didn't hear me say this, but if Sarsar happens to fall down some stairs and not wake up in the morning, I wouldn't shed a single tear.
Is that, can we kill him according to what our person
You were
wants to
not
happen?
told not to kill him. You were not told
We weren't told
any.
not to kill
You
him.
were not told anything in terms of like be super stealthy or not be super or anything like that. You were just told
It was
get
give
it.
Get the
a
sword.
sword.
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay. So you convene during the evening over. Is it wine and cheese again or something else?
No, it's
No,
cheese and
Um,
wine now.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's cheese and wine. Cheese
Yeah.
is the
Have it.
focus.
More
We are
specifically,
lighter on wine,
I was gonna
heavier
say
on cheese.
you have carved out a hollow cheese wheel, filled it with wine, and are dipping glasses into
Exactly. Yes.
Good, yes.
it. Okay, so
It is quite grotesque, actually.
it is
The
actually
innkeeper
really
is
gross, but it's like
It's
a
weird, like
cultural
rapture
tradition,
cheese.
especially in the desert. The cheese gets all melty.
Ooh.
Yeah, the innkeeper is giving us the stink eye as we take up a corner, like, booth
The
table
whole inn
again.
smells of like
That keeps people away so we can talk.
exactly.
Pretty good espionage team needs to
the
have a
important thing.
deterrent.
Are you at least leaving a decent tip?
No,
Perfect.
we're spending all of our money on weird side projects. Of course we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The dawn. The next day dawns. I think I just changed the day already.
Yeah.
So 12 days remaining. Colin, you have a meeting to go to. Do you want to start with that?
Yes.
Unless someone else
I'll
wants
go
Yeah,
to
to
jump
that's
in
the main
first.
event today.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, early after, probably at around noon, the merchant meets with you, and he says that he met with keep forgetting his name. Tusar, I believe, is his name. Tursar. He met with Tursar and spoke with him. If you were observing earlier today, Indigo, your character would have seen this happen. But he spoke with him, and yeah, he is interested in purchasing this dagger and taking a look at it. If you would like to bring it with you to his manor, he offered like a few times that might work for you, but the soonest one would probably be tomorrow afternoon. If that doesn't work, you can ask for a later one. If there are a few windows that he gave the merchant, but yeah, he'll bring it with you, and he'll take a look and offer to. You said you were interested in trading the dagger, for another artifact.
Yeah.
What he heard is that this guy's collection isn't really for sale, but he wants to see the dagger first. He's still willing. He still is offering ink directly if you want it, but if you're not,
Right.
he can probably like find something of similar value and like meet you again later. To try to, yeah, this is again not meant to be the final meeting in his eyes.
No, this is just like he sees what it is.
Yeah,
He offers me money or equivalent trade, and then he'll go into his vault, which is when we'll have our guy watch him.
Mhm.
And I could schmooze a little bit.
Yeah. So does that work for you?
Yes.
Yes, tomorrow afternoon. Perhaps him and I could have a good tea.
Perfect. So that's set for tomorrow afternoon. You met with the merchant. I don't think that's all day. I don't think that meeting with this merchant is going to be an all day action. If you want to do anything before and or after.
I'm willing to take suggestions, boys.
We're kind of running out of stuff.
I will say
Maybe-
that every day so far, Tursar has left his tower during normally the afternoon, and come back that evening. So every time you've been observing him, just keeping that in
spend
mind.
the
So
afternoon
you know.
tailing him.
That sounds like a fixer job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good with that. Let's spend an afternoon tailing him.
All right, perfect. So, he is there. I'm double checking something in the city. He heads to the Tea Gardens, which I'm just double checking. Yes, that's the Tea Gardens. Is a place within the Umbral Bazaar, which I'm pulling up a few details about it. So it's a quiet and serene place, probably very much in contrast to the rest of the bazaar. There are merchants gather here by shaded canopies and reflecting pools. Beneath cherry and almond trees, they drink fragrant tea, pluck fresh fruit from the branch. The gardens are like meticulously arranged into symmetrical areas divided by walkways and aqueducts. So it's super like very, very nice garden, meticulously maintained. Many merchants are known to like prefer only to meet in the garden. If I'm okay to do this, then Colin, I think your meeting will actually be here instead of on his personal manor. For this,
Wanted the personal manner.
I know, but he
That's like most of the point.
I think
Yeah, the
was
swapping
that the
that meeting to
point?
here might
I
be.
thought your point was to
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
No, the
because the
point
point
was
would
to get
be
in and see the
to
vault
get in, see
connections.
everything.
He
and-
wasn't going to take anything out of his vault anyways. To be blunt, nothing in his vault, your artifact is not as valuable as anything in his vault, as far as I can tell.
No, I know that, but it's more using the dagger as a means to get close to him and like try and strike up a rapport, right?
Yeah, that would still happen if you met him here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could. I just thought it'd be better because then I could be like, oh, there's a golem over there. Quite well, like like talk about stuff that I could see.
It's less important now that we have the map.
But it was
It
kind
is
of
less
the whole
important.
point.
Yeah,
Be on
like
the
not that
ground.
this would be a waste because we have to follow through or that'd be weird. But now that we have a map, we don't really need to know the details of where it is because we have a map to the.
Hmm. Well,
Okay.
I mean, it could also give us a
We
means
still
of
do need that to get an idea of, okay, the vault is below or above, or meet in his study.
Well, I don't think he's going to open his vault at all. Is the thing is
No, I know that. I
No,
was thinking
open it,
more.
no, but
But see the
It's more-
door.
yeah.
Maybe see the door. Maybe
No.
like walk around and see like does he give me a thing so the golem won't hurt me while I'm here, or is it like can I hear him say whatever passphrase it
Oh,
is to the golem?
right. There was one
like
other
stuff
thing.
like that.
Okay, I'm wrong. There's one thing I forgot to mention. So he'll meet with you tomorrow at the Tea Gardens. If he's meeting with you on his on the palace grounds, he actually specifically it can't be for another 2 days afterwards. You have to wait another 2 days if he's meeting with you on the palace grounds. And he will need an object from you in order to, the merchant will say, train his panther not to attack you.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. We should do that.
Let's do that one, yeah. Forget the
Okay.
tea gardens. We'll meet for the panther
Yeah.
training.
So that's in that's in 3 days basically then.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go. Oh, a panther. Perhaps you're gonna introduce me.
Yeah.
Like,
And so the merchant, as the go-between messenger explains, like, yeah, anyone who's coming onto there, he spends some time teaching. He's actually going to name the panther. Now that you're talking to someone who knows them,
ooh.
we have. I'll put it in chat. Obaya is the name of the panther, and yeah, as long as Obaya is introduced to smells beforehand in a certain way, he actually doesn't himself know how, but she knows the scent of everyone allowed in, and so the merchant is clearly actually quite fond of Obaya and considers her just a big house cat.
So when we go in, we're all going to wear your old clothes.
That or the thing that we give to, like, this is the okay scent. We all spend time, like, putting each of our scents on.
Everybody,
Yes, we
yeah.
all sleep in your t-shirt before you go
We
meet
all
with
share
the...
a pair of
like 3
undies. And
yeah, but just to be clear, you would need to like give something to the merchant today. So I think the sleeping in your own clothes, yeah, whatever. You'll figure it out. But
yeah,
he needs the
Now we're gonna have
objects
to rate
today
your old dirty clothes.
to meet with you tomorrow.
Yeah,
in a few
To
days, right?
meet with you in a few days.
Or what we could do is see how he trains the panther, right? And then just introduce the panther to your sense also.
So I'm on Panther observation duty.
Yes.
That's fair. You can do that
We're
even
gonna
today, which we'll
spy
get
on-
to after we're done
Yeah.
tailing him, because you are tailing him
We're
today.
gonna
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna spy on Panther training.
So I'll hand him something that is like very obviously mine. It is easy for you to like identify. I give him my sword,
No, what? No, those are expensive. Your ascot.
my ascot. Okay,
Yeah, that sounds right.
I give him something ostentatious on my person.
Yeah. Your handkerchief or something.
My purple handkerchief.
Excellent. So tailing Tursar to the tea gardens. He is meeting with someone known. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure you would know them just from their like station. Do you have any knowledge of history, culture, politics?
Me?
Yes. Okay, they're very important looking. You can make a roll if you want to identify them. But you either way can eavesdrop and hear what they say.
Let's hear what they say and see where the role belongs after that.
Tursar is planning to host this important looking woman and her husband for dinner at his tower 2 days before your deadline is up.
Ah, so last ditch timing. Okay.
She is excited to see his collection for the first time. And he also so again, to go over the thing, she seems like she's extremely important, and she has still never seen his collection until this.
That sounds like a time when the vault door will be open.
Yup.
He mentions that, Tursar mentions that since it is their first time visiting, he will need an item from everyone who will be attending so he can train Obaya on their scents.
Good, we've learned the same thing.
You learned the same thing, but one of you already gave an item. That's the thing.
Right. Can you somehow sneak one of your items in with their stuff?
Reverse pickpocket? I kind of love
Stealth
it.
roll, reverse pickpocket your dirty t-shirt.
Now, she's not going to handle it right now. She says what she says is she will send someone to drop off the items like tomorrow, basically, or something like that. Like she'll do it later. She'll have her people call your people.
Are we doing one roll per thing? Because I am both curious as to who they are and absolutely going to hang around trying to watch for her people to replace a thing.
Yeah.
Instead.
So it's your it's as many rolls as is needed for the thing you're doing.
Okay.
Sometimes none, sometimes
if that's
multiple.
the case, then regardless of how well I'm going to achieve it, I am curious who they are.
Sure.
Now, the question is that archive?
Yes, this will be definitely archives.
All right. Yes.
All right. This is Sintra Velm. She is the leader of House Velm, which is one of the merchant houses here. Technically, it's a minor house, but that's because it's been embroiled in a succession crisis since the end of the bone spore outbreak. Which maybe you only know that by name. Leadership has passed constantly between a series of incredibly inept cousins, and only in the last decade, this lady specifically has basically pulled it back from the brink and stabilized it. She has been facing an uphill battle to recover lost holdings that were traded away in bad trades or lost through other risks that did not pay off from her predecessors. And she is very widely respected for her business sense. Even though she on a personal level, she's actually probably more influential than just her house station because of the circumstances that she has succeeded in.
Okay. Who is the guy with her?
Your Mark? It's just them two meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that there was somebody else.
No, her husband is invited, but he's not here. They
Okay.
both have like guards and people around. You can still listen in without a roll because of the nature of the gardens. You can just like be nearby sipping tea and like not like they're not
handing out pamphlets.
Yeah, this isn't like something that's super secretive.
No, you can't hand out
inviting this
pamphlets
person.
on the fancy.
Yeah. No, you probably wouldn't be able to hand out pamphlets, but nonetheless, it like this one person's having this other person over for dinner. It's not that secretive, if that makes sense. So they're not
Yeah.
like getting guards to make sure no one listens in or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you
All
hear.
right.
And you also wanted to try to switch out your stuff for their stuff. Like I said, she was going to just
Yes.
have her people do it later. She's
If I know where she is or who she is, I'm hoping that I can, get run off, get something of our warriors first, and then swap those two things out. Give me something fancy that might be useful, and then waylay her servant on the way.
okay.
Like I clearly have
You will have to do
we
that.
clearly have like
The waylaying will happen tomorrow because that's when they're doing the delivery.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
yeah, I'm sure we have like something from both of us that we could slip into the pile for the servants, so we
Yeah.
can get on the go card with the panther.
Actively find the fanciest thing that's going to make sense, and they're not going to look at it and say, "This is what you chose from the
I
lady."
have some gloves or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indigo, what are you doing?
I don't know.
You were going to
I'm just really
observe
just
the cat
watching.
training technique before. Is that still what you're doing?
Yeah, but now that we have a solution for that, I don't care as much.
That's fair.
If we're this is a much better plan than trying to train the cat on the fly.
Ourselves.
No,
Yeah.
this is a better plan. Slipping in our stuff to get green carded is way better than me trying to train them.
I have an idea if you're interested.
What?
Um, Figuring out about the flying fish, if that's actually a
Mm.
thing we should worry about, because none of us really have the line on the archives that you do.
Yeah, figuring out. So after we have after I touch base and get past a copy of this like doodled map,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
want
would
to
have
go
been
back.
done immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to go back to my observation point and
Yeah.
try to
By
piece
now, the
together.
birds have like made friends with you. At this point, you've been there so long.
Yeah, yeah. I now want to figure out where the vault is on the property.
I'm gonna need a check for that.
That seems fair. That seems reasonable.
Um,
What skill? What attribute?
I think this was going to have to be spirit. Archive is nice, but I think in this case you're gonna partly have to go with your gut here.
About that.
Not that.
Can I use archive instead?
You don't have it like you have that information you've given, but you don't have any evidence one way or the other through external observation. I think that
I can't just
so
compare
archive is information.
architectural features.
How do you mean?
Hmm,
You
how
already
about
have a
this?
theory that the vault is
Yeah.
underground, but you're looking for
New
like
approach.
confirmation.
New approach, not observation. Uh, public records.
Hmm.
I want to look at Mason reports for the
You gotta have a
construction.
permit for this.
Okay.
Well, or even if it's just like going to the Mason Guild and looking at receipts for who ordered 20 guys to work for 20 weeks on a puzzle floor.
Make an
kind of
archives
stuff.
check.
That's,
Can I use my history and culture to grant me advantage?
I would say culture, yes. Ooh. All
he
right.
did it under the table.
Yeah, there's nothing in here. Like you find the official records of the tower. You don't see either of the two hidden rooms there.
Maybe the fishes mean something.
Yep.
You could next go to the Animal Guild
So
and
there
look
is,
up the fish.
I think, even with a failure, there is one thing that you do find though in public record, whether or not there's a marking that um there's a marking in here that something was commissioned. You find an old copy of like a contract from decades ago, from an old tile maker called Biseth or Biseth, I think. From Gemhaven. Looks like something big and expensive was commissioned around like 20 or a bit longer than 20 years ago.
All right, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yep. Okay. We've all gone for today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Days countdown again. This is
I
probably gonna
understand.
be our,
I don't know if this is the best way to do this adventure, but like I can't think of another.
Oh, I think this
method.
partly this is the first half.
They
This is
gave
the
us
legwork.
They gave us 14 days. I figure we should use the 14
Yeah.
days.
Okay.
It seems complicated enough that unless we're going to do a failed attempt first, it needs it.
So, Felix, you are going to try
We'll die if that-
to switch out some clothes or
Yeah.
add to clothes.
I think adding clothes feels a little weird. I'll
Switching
do
runs
whichever is
the-
easier, but I'm tempted to switch out because, yeah, it'll be noticed when the others are suddenly not trained on the Panther.
They're mauled by a panther.
Yeah. That's a great distraction.
That is actually a really
Exactly.
good distraction point. If we swap all of the clothes, then the leader of that house gets mauled by a panther.
And it feels a little bit weird if it's like, that's way more stuff than I was expecting to have to train the Panther on.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'd like to switch it out, but if it seems like that's going to be way harder, then I'll
Just for her and her husband's stuff. Make a gut check on what things are her
Well,
and
is
her
it
husband.
just her and her husband going
you
in, or are
don't
they
know.
also
Yeah.
bringing servants?
You don't know. They said that those two were invited, but also they're rich and powerful and might bring people with them. Either way, once you get to the switching
Then
of
I think
outing,
I'll
you
make
can
a gut-
see.
yeah.
In the moment, you
I'll
can
make
see.
a gut check on how much things there
Okay,
are.
perfect. So, you see, you're probably like both of their estates are in the noble district. So you actually don't have a lot of time to do this. When you see where like the house Velm servant like leaves out of their manor and starts walking over down a couple blocks to the house Setru tower. So you have like a 10 or 15-minute window opportunity. What do you do? The streets are far from empty, but it's probably mostly like servants and messengers and like important nobles. Important nobles of themselves are probably like in carriages or similar. Like they're not walking, but the servant is going to be walking.
Do either of you two want to do a distraction or no?
I could do it. I didn't have anything planned for today.
Absolutely. Then my goal here is just pickpocket, in and out, depending on what it is, using stealth, which will be significantly easier if there is some sort of
Yeah,
distraction.
they're holding a sack. That's what they're holding the stuff in.
Okay, so we basically just need them to put down sack so we can add things, because at this point we've seen if it's a sack we're adding, we're not switching.
Yeah.
It's not, just to be clear, it's a small sack. It's like over the shoulder, like single plastic bag sized sack. Grocery bag sack.
Just 2 people or 4.
Well,
Okay, we don't know what
I'll give you enough time to like just look to see.
Does the sack look common?
Common? Oh, I see. In terms of fabric.
If I went to a stall on the side of the road, would I find the same sack over there?
You're not in the merchant area. There's no one selling nearby. But yes.
Yeah, unless you pre-prepared a sack.
Unless you
So
prepared a
you can
sack.
find a similar
but
sack.
yes, you can find a similar sack if you left now and did it.
Which means I'd probably miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
100%.
Unless
Yeah,
I
okay.
delayed him for long enough.
Yeah.
You're not going to delay him long enough to go to the store and buy a sack. Like, you could definitely delay.
Listen,
I could buy.
I really
delay,
need you to take this pamphlet, okay? I'm not letting you
I
leave.
Yeah, I could buy you delaying long enough for a pickpocket switcheroo, not long
Yeah.
enough to go to the store.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll do a pickpocket switcheroo. Or
Okay.
a pickpocket,
Stuff
let's
empty
see
and
what's in the
stuff.
sack.
Yeah.
Maybe add, maybe not.
Okay.
Okay, my distraction is gonna be. Is
Or
this guy
catch
like
a blinding
walking with a
fire.
purpose?
Yeah, I would say they're like pretty. They know where they're going and they're heading there.
Okay, I want to basically like have us run into each other, and then like because I am houseborn, I'm like talking down to this,
Oh,
Just gonna
player,
walk straight through him,
right?
knock him to
So
the
I want to be
curb.
like,
Watch where you're going, good sir. I'm half a minded to tell your mistress or master what you do upon the streets in their name.
like that
excellent.
sort of thing.
Okay, I
Berate
dig
him
it.
for 5
So
minutes.
this will give
berate.
Marissa advantage to her pickpocket roll.
All right.
So this will be
Right, there
agility.
is just advantage. Okay.
Yep,
Agility, eh?
Roll 2d10, keep the lowest.
Ooh.
Well,
So you what was your intention? Like, did you want to just like carefully sneak up and look inside there?
yeah, I wanted to kind of carefully sneak up, open the sack if I could do it quickly enough, judge how much stuff there was, and at least stuff our stuff in.
All right. You carefully sneak up, you open the sack, you do get a glimpse inside for a split second. Before these, you spot that there are in fact 3 things inside the sack: a scarf,
Okay.
a pair of boots, and probably like the heavy one is probably a chain glove, like chainmail glove.
Okay.
You get a quick glimpse of that before the servant turns around and says, "Hey, what? No, what? I'm being mugged!" And so it's like starting to make a ruckus, basically, of the others. Like, I can't believe it in this place. They like grab the sack up and start like trying to get away from both of you.
Before they grab the sack up, at that point, can I just grab the sack and take off running?
Yeah, you can.
I have
Start
no idea who this
sprinting.
person is. How
I
dare you
will do.
accuse me?
Are
of-
you gonna get
of
fake
tomfoolery?
caught? Are you gonna let the wizard fake catch you
I could chase
Mm,
after him.
and have
No,
him valiantly return the sack?
I'm thinking of getting to the gate first and basically saying, "Yeah, he ran into some trouble over there. Here's the stuff you need." He sent it on to me with me.
Are you okay?
I mean, I know
you
the
look
guards.
like a servant? Oh, you do know the guards. All right, I'm gonna need. So there's no doubt you're fast enough to get away from them with everything going on.
You are
Woo.
insanely fast. You run like lightning.
Yes. So I think when you go up to the guards, I'm gonna need a masks roll to trick them.
All
At
right.
this time, you're alone, though, obviously, because you're if you slowed down enough for Colin to catch up to you, the servant would too.
No.
I assume I'm still with the servant, like berating him for running into
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
and accusing me of
they tried to ignore you and run away at that point. They weren't 100% sure that you were a real noble. You're walking on the street like a peasant.
It's good exercise.
It's not unheard of, obviously, but you know.
Can I get advantage for knowing the guards and being able to tailor my approach?
I think knowing makes it happen.
I would actually say yes, you get advantage. If they didn't know like they wouldn't know the face of the servant either way, so yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see how this mask throw goes. Oh, come on! My mask is 5.
All right. So, it's still probably fairly early in the morning. The Leela, she takes the sack and she says, "Thanks, for doing this." But you can tell, like, she's a bit suspicious. And we're going to add 1 alarm to the alarm track.
Oh no.
There's a little alarm track.
Yep. Normally it doesn't matter
Okay.
until you're in there. But
Did you add your stuff to the sack?
you
Yes.
did.
I swapped
Okay.
out the stuff, so none of their stuff is in there. All of
Stuff is in
ours is.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have a boot and a chainmail glove and whatever the scarf was.
A boot, a scarf, a boot, and a pair of boots, actually, and a chainmail
It's
glove.
attached around a corner.
Yep.
In a separate but slightly different sack.
Perfect.
Oh
So
no, the sack's the same. I kept the same sack. The sack obviously has, I don't
You
even.
just stash the scarf, the boots, and the chainmail glove like out of the sack, just
Yeah.
in a dumpster.
yep.
Yes.
Okay. So we hope that went well.
Yep.
Inigo, you weren't involved with that, so you can still
Yeah, I'm
do
gonna go
something to it.
talk to the tile layer.
Perfect. All right. So Bizeth, I think, you go and find him.
Yep.
He is old. He was working like 20 to 30 years ago on this. So he's like modern day. He should have retired. But he's still working. He's working in the crafters hall. His tiles are gorgeous. He does remember creating the puzzle floor, but he doesn't remember much or puzzle. Yeah, he actually tells you. He tells you he was commissioned to make a what's called a puzzle floor. Which is like literally a like series of intricate like designs on the floor to form some kind of puzzle lock. It is a like fancy vault door lock. He talks about it.
Cool.
He says it's like it was awesome. He liked doing it. Doesn't remember too much about the details though.
That's fine. I'm not. I'm no burglar. I'm just simply one interested in architecture, and I give some bona fides about how much like
Yeah.
I'm into cool tile designs of whatever this town is.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can make a roll if we want, but basically the goals I want to talk
He's
to him
pretty
about.
happy to just chat about what he knows. I don't think you need to roll. He's
Sick.
like, "Oh,
Where
how's
is
that
the
old
building?
Tersar doing?"
Yeah, I've seen the building from afar. Where inside is this tile floor? Because I know there's the garden level and all that. I can't imagine they put that.
Yeah. So he mentions 2 things as he's kind of rambling a bit to you. Firstly, he mentions that he thinks he based the pattern off of some kind of book that Tersar was really into and fond of. Doesn't remember the name of the book. But he does remember he was given a passage from it he doesn't have it with him, but he was referencing a specific passage from it when he designed this tile set. He So he was never there specifically personally. Tersar was very protective about it, and like the man is pretty clear-headed, but he doesn't seem to remember much about this to the point where like he himself is like
Should know more.
I should remember more of this, but don't. He does remember that some of the stuff about the puzzle floor, the materials he used will tell you, were meant to last for a long time and stay vibrant amongst cool, damp environments, which is rare in these parts. Like you're still in the middle of a desert area. It'll be cool in some places. It's rarely damp unless you're like in an oasis or something. But that's the type of environment he made it for.
Maybe under that pond I see on the map.
Yeah, that pool is getting very suspicious.
Maybe, but he obviously doesn't know. But yeah, that's all he can tell you.
I was really hoping he had installed said tiles.
No, what he did is he designed the individual tiles, but
Do the
the
numbers, old timer, do the numbers 086 ring any bells?
The numbers, Mason.
almost
What are they?
that's probably almost his age, but no, not other than that. He doesn't recognize the numbers. I think that it's not unheard of. Again, with your knowledge of wait, do you've knowledge, influence, no, you have history and culture. Cool.
Yeah.
When I think later, when you all compare notes again, debrief. I think as a warlock and someone briefed in politics and influence, it's not unheard of for someone, especially like a powerful and rich warlock, to selectively wipe the memories of those they do dealings with in order to protect their greatest secrets.
Ah.
Yep.
Must have been mind wiped.
Well, because of that damp point, I have a talent in geography. Does that assist with locating where on this property one might keep a damp
Yes.
vault?
Make an archives roll. At this point, you can do it with archives with the research you've done. You can use spirit if
With
you
advantage?
want to. With advantage.
Huzzah!
Perfect.
Nice.
So you've done some. You have the map. You've done your research, and it's probably not under the pond. It's probably, if you look at the tower map handout, on the very bottom floor is a well. That well probably has a larger cave within it. That would be related to that. That's more because the pond, if there's any access down there, it'll probably like drip or other, or unless he's using magic to hold it up, which is totally possible. Magic kind of throws the rules of geography out the window.
Yeah,
but
normally.
there's already a damp place underground in the well cave, basically. So if you just
So I have a
expanded that,
location.
you have a location.
So it
I
looks
think
like
it might be time to bring in the eerie tunnelers.
So it looks like it's gonna be in. Oops, I don't want a square. That's fine. In there,
Yeah.
Yeah, that little side outbuilding.
that side outbuilding that the golem doesn't go in has the well.
Yeah. Under that building does appear to be our thing. So, at night, when the golem is patrolling the grounds,
Mm-hmm.
and the panther knows our scent, we should be able to slip down the well and use our magic numbers and super special warlock friend to get in.
I
Hopefully.
will mention that I think the panther knows our scent, but also that it didn't go quite as to plan
my
as
scent.
I hoped.
That'll
Your
help.
scent, I think, is fine.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gave them
that'll
your
help.
like handkerchief, your purple handkerchief.
Yeah.
That should be fine.
All right. So I think
Yeah, I mean, worst
that-
case, if I have enough if I have enough ink to cast a spell, I could Prison of Avenging Memory the Panther and have it forget everyone else but me.
that is a
That'd
good
be a
point.
very high level spell, though.
Oh, you did get a mind wipe spell.
Kind of.
mind torture.
Violently
but,
lock up. Well, it would be more like violently locking up their memories, so
Yeah,
they
it's
more like
intentionally can
irreparable
be.
brain damage if they attempt to access them.
It's
You
like,
can
have you
lobotomize
seen the movie
someone.
Get Out? It's like I put them in the sunken place.
Okay, yeah, horrible mind palace.
Yeah, horrible mind palace that they cannot
Excellent.
escape.
Okay. Let's do end of session.
Yeah, XP time.
Where are we? Advancement. Here we are. So,
Yes.
did you find any treasure? I do not think
No.
so. Did you complete
No.
a
Friendship?
goal?
No.
I do not think so. Did you learn
Wait.
it?
No.
Did you learn anything useful about the world?
Yes.
There's not enough horses.
There's
I
no
mean-
horses.
I'd also argue I completed a goal. It was very much a goal to increase the organization of the bug people.
I don't
It
know
was
if
a
that's an
stated
actual
thing from the
concrete
very
goal. That's a
beginning.
motivation. But I don't know if that was a goal that ever had a finish line. I don't think you have finished
They're
it.
in charge of the city below, which means I haven't.
Which
beat
means you
that
haven't
goal.
completed it. But if you do, it will be a long-term goal.
It's worth 1 XP.
However,
I
we
will
did
say
establish.
I have
Go ahead.
established a short-term goal in the future to cash out on.
Which is?
The invention of horse.
Yes,
Invention of horse.
Mhm.
Same with me. I have puzzle box.
you do. Okay. Did you establish a meaningful relationship with a faction or NPC?
Yes.
Yes.
The bug
Yes.
people.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't think we finished answering. Did you learn anything useful with the world?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because
I
we go to
think
the
so.
D6 anyway.
Well, you roll them individually
Yeah.
and keep the highest result. So
Oh,
if
right.
the D6 is lower than the D4.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
learned something useful.
I'd say so.
Yeah. We learned about this weird tower complex. We
We're
learned
learning
about
all about the politics of the merchant houses.
And did any of
Yeah.
your characters survive being on death's door? Not this time.
Nope.
No.
no.
Okay, so
So
roll
2
a
dice.
D4
Maybe
and a
next time.
D6 and see what we get. And then someone gets also going to get MVP. Okay, the D4 is shot.
Uh-oh. D6.
Who's for the D6?
All yours.
Okay, I'll do it. Hey!
4. Okay, 4 XP for everyone
Yeah.
and 1 more for MVP. Who's MVP?
I think our archivist in this time. The amount of research of checking out the grounds and the general information seems really useful as a starting point.
Cool.
Good to go. There
That
we go.
puts me at 11 out of 10, so I am now
Yay.
level 3, making my XP 15.
And I'm 10 out of 10, so
Oh.
the same has happened here.
I'm 5 out of 10.
You'll catch up.
What's XP again?
So it's in the same
Level up, I
handout.
mean.
When you gain a level, you either increase 1 stat by 1 and HP by 2, or increase 2 stats by 1. Then, level 3 as a vagabond means that you now have access to trophies. So if you can take out the golem or the panther, you could get a trophy.
Yeah, so it is 15. Cool.
Oh yeah, it's whatever times
5.
Yeah.
your
Current level
yeah,
is
5
5.
times your new level.
Yeah, I am going to have to take the HP again because I am soft.
Well, you get new grit every time, which is nice.
Yeah, and my grit goes up. That's
And you
good.
don't get a new maneuver until 5th level. Okay.
Correct, because I get the trophies instead.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I just keep pumping archive? Do I just get smarter?
If you do,
You
then
could.
you should be the only one who does, probably.
Yeah.
Marissa, what
I
are you
haven't
doing?
been putting things into it at all, but
And then you get a new archetype feature, a new skill or skill mastery. You could get many pockets to get many pockets mastery is good, but I don't know if many pockets normal is.
Yeah, backstab.
I don't, and I have been strongly considering it.
Might be useful for
But
this.
also haven't really done a lot of stealth separate from the group, so maybe
That's fair.
Or expertise.
You could look for healing
Yep.
touch, actually, in the text below.
I'm also looking at the masteries for swift and nimble.
Yeah, you were
Always
interested.
acting before the
Yeah.
Oh, ranged attacks straight up have disadvantage. Sounds nice.
Yep. And now that you have armor, that actually will matter a bit more because sometimes it'll deal nothing.
Mm.
Mm.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll decide that later, but
Yeah.
this was episode 3 of the Electrum Archive. I'm going to start looking into future things to run, but I think we probably have, if we're pretty much ready to jump into things, then we will probably finish this up next session. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Seems reasonable.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, at least this thing. I'll get my horse later.
Yes.